Kenilworth Road. Luton stay bottom, Sheffield United go top. Chris Coles.
On such results, promotions can hinge. Who'd have thought when these two were relegated from the Premier League together, it'd be Luton who finished 10 points ahead of Sheffield United, the ones bottom of the Championship in mid-February. But they didn't play like it in the first half, reminiscent of the Luton we've grown accustomed to. High intensity, players everywhere, Morris and Adebayo physically imposing, crowd right behind them, and they really should have taken one of the terrific chances created. Asgard hit the bar, Adebayo missed from 3 yards, Morris had a header well saved, and with 10 minutes to play, Ahmed Hodzic pounces for Sheffield United, a calm finish into the corner. Luton remain bottom, 3 points from safety. Sheffield United go top, a point clear of Leeds, who play on Monday.
And just above Luton are Plymouth, beaten today at playoff chasing Blackburn. Julia Bold.
Yeah, it's finished Blackburn 2, Plymouth 0. Despite dominating all afternoon, it took the home side until 55 minutes to break the deadlock. Adam Fulshaw's right foot sent the ball into the top left corner. Then it was Tyrese Dolan, 12 minutes from time, who put this game well beyond Plymouth. It's a defeat that ends a really good run for the tired-looking visitors. After 2 league wins and beating Liverpool in the FA Cup, it leaves them in the bottom 3. As for caretaker Blackburn manager David Lowe, you wonder if he has to be in the running for the job now. It's 2 wins in 3 days. They sit in the playoff places, and the team clearly enjoy playing for him. It's finished here at Ewood Park, Blackburn 2, Plymouth 0.
So Sheffield United are top, 70, having played 33 games. Leeds have only played 32 and they've got 69. Burnley 65 from 33. Sunderland 62 from 32. Blackburn have 51. West Brom have 48. Coventry have 47. They've all played 33. Luton are bottom with 27. Plymouth have 28. They've both played 32. Derby have 29, completing the relegation zone, but they have played 33 games. I'll come back to League One and League Two in a little while, but let's go into Scotland. Celtic have increased their lead at the top of the table in the Premiership. Comfortable 3-0 win over Dundee United. Ailey Barber.
Well, Jim Goodwin said he was going to take inspiration from Bayern ahead of his team's visit here, but I'm not sure which part of it he was trying to replicate, because this was so comfortable for Celtic. What will please Brendan Rodgers particularly is that he was able to rest key players like Maeda, Kuhn, Johnson and Engels, who'll all be vital in Munich on Tuesday night. Jota also got more minutes and another goal as he continues to build his fitness, and there was another goal too for Adam Ida with a superb strike. All in, it really was the perfect afternoon for Celtic, and now it is full focus on that big one in Germany. It finished here at Celtic Park. Celtic 3, Dundee United 0.
16 points clear of Rangers now are Celtic after that win. Elsewhere, Dundee 1, Aberdeen 2. Dundee slipped to next to bottom in the table. Kilmarnock 3, St Johnstone 1, Motherwell 0, Ross County 3. So at the bottom of the table, St Johnstone have 21, Dundee have 27, Ross County have 29, St Mirren and Hearts both have 30. Elsewhere in Scotland in League One, Alloa 2, Kelty Hearts... let me do the Championship and jump to League One. In the Championship, Falkirk 2, Ayr 2, Livingston 0, Dunfermline 0, Morton 2, Airdrieonians 2, Queen's Park 1, Hamilton 2, Wraith 3, Partick Thistle 0. So Falkirk have 50 and Ayr have 48. They're the top two. They played each other this afternoon. Alloa 2, Kelty Hearts 0, Cove Rangers 3, Annan 1 in Scottish League 1, Dumbarton 2, Montrose 3, and Arbroath 3-0 win at Queen of the South takes them top of League 1. In League 2, East Fife 1, Bonnyrigg Rose 1. They stay top of the table though, to East Fife from 4 points clear of Peterhead, who also drew 2-2 at home to Clyde. Elsewhere, Edinburgh.
Enjoy Prezzo's exclusive Valentine's menu. 2 delicious courses from just £24. Indulge in a hand-picked selection of Italian favourites, perfectly paired with a glass of something special. Available from the 10th to the 16th of February. Book your table today.
I can do it, yes I
They have 69 rather. Wickham have 60, Wrexham 58, Stockport 57, Huddersfield 52 and Leyton Orient 50. They're in the playoff spot on goal difference from Charlton and Bolton, who also have 50. Cambridge are bottom with 23. Burton have 26. Shrewsbury 27. And Crawley 28. In League 2, at lunchtime, AFC Wimbledon beat Salford by a goal to nil. Doncaster 1, Grimsby 2. Then at 3 o'clock, Bromley beat Fleetwood 1-0. Goalless between Carlisle and Colchester. Cheltenham 3, Barrow 2. Gillingham 0, 10-man Crew 0. Harrogate 1, Swindon 0. Morecambe 2, Accrington 0. Newport 0, Bradford City 0. Bradford down to 10 in the first half there. Tranmere 1, MK Dons 1. Walsall 3, Chesterfield 1. So the leaders are Walsall and they have 63. AFC Wimbledon 55. Bradford 54. Notts County 53. Port Vale and Doncaster have 52. Crew complete the playoff spots on 49. Carlisle stay bottom on 22. Morecambe have 26, and that win over Accrington takes them to within 2 of Tranmere. Back to the Etihad. Manchester City beating Newcastle 4-0. Edison is live on Sports Report with Gary Flintoff.
Thank you, Mark. Edison, thanks.
It's so deep to play, but as try. The bad moments, stay together, keeping working to go up again. And this team improved today. I have quality, I have experience to play this competition. Now is focus on Madrid.
And of course, you've got quite a few new faces. Nico Gonzalez, very, very effective today. And of course, the young Kusanov at the back. But what about Omar Marmoush? I mean, he looks a player.
Yeah, he's really, really good player. He's so fast, have good finish. I help a lot to us today.
You did. You have the most assists of any Premier League goalkeeper now, which I'm sure you're aware of.
Yeah, I'm so happy to mark this history now. Especially I play against this team's mark man-to-man. The main phrase is goalkeeper. And I have fast players up front, Marmoush, Savio, and Early. It's so easy, and just put the ball in the space. Yeah. Let me see this mark or not.
Well, it's good to see the smile back on your face. Thanks for joining us on Sports Report.
Edison live with Gary Flintoff. Let's tidy up the rest of the football results in the National League. AFC Fylde 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 1. Barnet 3, Solihull Moors 1. Braintree 2, Forest Green Rovers 0. Eastleigh 2, Aldershot 0. Ebbsfleet 0, York 2. FC Halifax 1, Boston 0. Gateshead 0, Altrincham 1. Goalless between Hartlepool and Maidenhead, and Oldham and Sutton. Southend 1, Rochdale 1. Woking 1, Tamworth 1. And Yeovil 1, Wealdstone 2. So with Barnet and York both winning, Barnet's lead at the top of the table remains 4 points. And in the Northern Ireland Premiership this afternoon, Crusaders 3, Ballymena 1. Dungannon 3, Carrick Rangers 1. Glenarvan 3, Cliftonville 1. And Linfield 1, Loughgall 0. That's the day's football results. In horse racing, the Paul Nicholls trained Pic Dory won the feature race, the Ascot Chase, and John Hunt was watching.
Well, a feature of the career of 14 times champion trainer Paul Nicholls is on the rare occasions where his back is against the wall, he comes out fighting, and his stable star Pic Dory was absolutely superb at Ascot this afternoon, giving Nicholls his first Grade 1 victory since this day 12 months ago when Pic Dory also dismantled his field. Today, even more impressive. Pic Dory made all of the running. L'Empresse was very disappointing, pulled up after the 7th fence. Question mark surely over him now for Cheltenham in 3 weeks' time. Corbett's Cross was second, but beaten 10 lengths, with Pic Dory jumping absolutely magnificently. So Paul Nicholls had been in the doldrums, a very quiet spell in terms of winners, but this saw him back on the board, and he was thrilled.
We all enjoyed that. It was good to see him do that. This was always his day, it's his Gold Cup really in a lot of ways, and we had a few problems with some of the horses that not right at home, and you just always got little doubts, but I felt him and the horse that ran in the last were as good as I've seen them look, and they both ran like it, and I'd say probably for Pic Dory that was probably nearly a career best. He was awesome today. We've learnt over the years, you just stick at it. We know we've got a great setup, and you don't change nothing. The horses always come right. And it's like if you've got a load of school kids, if you've got 150 school kids at any one time, especially this time, you're going to have a certain number with a cold or got a flu, and that goes round them all, and you just got to wait for it to come right and just hope that on days like this, horses running are okay.
A clearly delighted Paul Nicholls there, who also told us afterwards that he would love to give Pic Dory a run in the King George at Kempton. at Christmas time. A long way off, but Nichols eyeing that one up for sure. Nichols has got 5 entries in the Grand National this year, and the Grand National trial was staged at Haydock Park this afternoon. The result there saw a victory for Nicky Richards' stable. Famous Bridge just proving too strong from Lucinda Russell's Apple away. It was a stirring finish. Both are entered in the Grand National, but the Scottish National looks a more likely target for the pair.
John Hunt there. Now, it's been an eventful and at times surprising start to the Super League season, and that continued this afternoon at Headingley as Wakefield beat Leeds 14-12. Fraser Dainton is with us because he's at St Helens Salford, which is about to get underway on BBC Two. But exactly what Super League needed, the side that's come into it getting a win.
Yeah, it's been exciting stuff, hasn't it? It really has. And Wakefield will probably rattle a few cages this season. I know for a fact that they've recruited very, very well. Darryl Powell, of course, their head coach, has a lot of experience in Super League, particularly when he was at Castleford and also at Leeds many years ago. Max Jowett scored today for them, and he was scoring bucket loads of tries in the Championship. So they will rattle a few cages. Leeds, a little bit of a surprise. I know that Brad Arthur had his side very, very, very fit indeed for the start of this season, and that will not go down very well at all with the Headingley crowd this afternoon. But as you say, Super League is springing some surprises this season in early doors.
It is. It does have some troubled sides and some troubled clubs as well, and probably the most troubled off the field are Salford, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been much publicised what problems they've had, that they had that advance payment from Super League in order to plug some of their finances while they managed to get a takeover going through. That has now happened. They've got new owners. They've got ambitious owners who want to invest, but at the moment they are still working under special measures because all the paperwork, they say, hasn't quite gone through. As a result of that, that's affected their team selection this afternoon. Their entire starting 13 is youngsters that a lot of players, a lot of people within Super League will probably never even have heard of. They've only been able to manage to name 3 substitutes as well this afternoon, but they are at least senior players in Joe Bullock, Ben Hellawell and Chiaki Chan. As for St Helens, bit of an unknown quantity, some experienced signings. They've brought in the likes of Kyle Felt on the wing, for example, who scored a lot of tries in the NRL. Tristan Saylor's in there as well as Lewis Murphy, all 3 of whom make debuts tonight.
St Helens Salford on BBC Two if you want to watch that. Sounds like it was a cracking game in the Women's Premiership as next to bottom Leicester won 45-43 at Trailfinders. In the Rugby Championship today, results: Lions beat Stormers 30-23. Bulls 19, Sharks 29. 15 minutes into these 2 games, Benetton 7, Ulster 7, Munster 5, Scarlets 0. A couple of other sports stories. Yannick Sinner, the world #1 in tennis, has accepted an immediate 3-month ban for doping. He'll be back in time for the French Open at the end of May. And England have confirmed that Ben Duckett will be fit for the Champions Trophy, which begins this week in Pakistan and the UAE. To Selhurst Park then. Full commentary now. Crystal Palace against Everton with Mark Schwarzer and John Murray.
Well, it's like being back at Goodison Park again because we've got the smell of code out in our noses. Mark Schwarzer with smoke bombs and fireworks going off, but not quite the intensity of Goodison on Wednesday night as the match begins and Everton kick off.
Yeah, very much so. Different atmosphere, that's for sure. It was the last ever Merseyside derby at Goodison, so it was always going to be different, wasn't it? It was always going to be very emotional. It was certainly a fantastic way to finish a game of football. But this one today, obviously 2 teams who are in good form. Yep. Crystal Palace have turned the corner, as have Everton, so it should be a good game.
Yes, Everton, after the event, the tumultuous event of Wednesday night, have taken 10 points from their last 12, and Crystal Palace just 1 defeat in their last 9 in all competitions, but that was here the last time they played in the Premier League when Brentford came and won. But it is a grey, cold afternoon as Everton make their first attack of the match. The ball played for Lindstrom down the right, who tries to cross it as the defender Mitchell is there with him, but I think it bounced back onto the Everton man and behind, and it is given as a goal kick by the referee, who is Anthony Taylor. So Crystal Palace and Mitchell as the wing backs, Lerma and Hughes in the middle, and then Sarr, who's recovered from illness. He missed Doncaster in the FA Cup on Monday night, but he's back. Justin Devaney, who scored in that win at Doncaster, comes into the team, and Kamada is among the substitutes, and it is the top scorer, the dangerous Jean-Philippe Mateta, up front. In fact, we've got two centre forwards. I know we were talking about centre forwards early on in the programme on 5 Live Sport this afternoon. So Mateta at one end and Beto, the informed Beto, at the other as the ball is back with Pickford, who is the Everton goalkeeper. They are in the sort of off-white shirts, sort of creamy coloured shirts really, with grey shorts and the cream-coloured socks. Pickford in goal, O'Brien, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Mikolenko, Garner and Gay, then Lindstrom. Alcaraz coming in for his first start for Everton on loan from Napoli. As cross from the right-hand side for Everton just drifts out of play, and Beto conceding the corner. So Harrison now on the left-hand side with Njai out injured, and Beto through the middle. Beto with 3 goals in his last 2 Premier League appearances, Mark. But Everton having to make those changes with Doucouré suspended obviously after his red card, and Njai injured. Big losses.
Yeah, and Njai in particular, I thought. Obviously, Doucouré is a really hard-working midfielder, going all over the pitch midweek against Liverpool. Obviously, heavily involved with the aftermath. That's why he's missing today. And Njai, I think, is a big loss. He is a player that is very special. I think he can create something from nothing, and he's been a real standout player for Everton this season.
So it is Everton who have possession with David Moyes standing, hands in his pockets on the side of the pitch. What a very good start he's made, having lost the first match in charge against Aston Villa, but since then unbeaten in the Premier League, although the defeat in the FA Cup at Bournemouth was a disappointment at Goodison last weekend. But it is Everton playing it out from the back. Pickford over to the far side, then it comes back in centrally to Branthwaite, who returns it to goalkeeper Pickford. I thought Branthwaite was very, very impressive on Wednesday night against Liverpool. Palace have it back. Here's Hughes, and then Sarr out to the right-hand side, but it actually clipped the heels of Munoz over there on the far side, and Everton break now on the halfway line. Here is Beto, wanted to send the return pass through to Lindstrom, instead taps it short, and Garner then back centrally. Here is Alcaraz, who's come in to play in the Doucouré role, making his 3rd appearance for Everton, and they have it on the left-hand side now, over on the left with Harrison, who goes back centrally to Idrissa Gueye. And then he's charged down by Hughes. The ball loops high, but the header forward, that should be Everton's. It is, I think, with Garner getting his shirt pulled, he was, by Devaney. So it's a free kick to Everton, Mark, inside their own half.
Yeah, a little bit sort of messy sort of start to this game. Both sides not really grabbing hold of the ball. Everton have had slightly better field positioning without creating as yet. So I think overall they'll be reasonably happy with the way the game started.
Yep, it's a free kick to Everton then, which is taken square by Tarkowski. I couldn't help but notice when the Everton players emerged for their warm-up on the side of the pitch, they burst out of the tunnel down to our right. Tarkowski sprinted almost at full tilt to the edge of the area. It looked as though he was still buzzing from the events of Wednesday night. As Palace start with Mitchell now here on the left, but he is quickly closed down. So Mitchell now under pressure from Ben Chilwell, who's on the bench for Crystal Palace tonight, on loan from Chelsea, as the ball is played out towards the right-hand side, headed infield to Sarr, who is in an offside position. But Chilwell's on the bench, Mark, and Adam Wharton as well, who started after coming back from injury in the match at Doncaster on Monday night. They also have Eza and Nketiah on the bench, so quite a strong-looking Crystal Palace bench, while Everton, I would say, a little bit thin, inexperienced, an 18-year-old, 19-year-old, couple of 20-year-olds and a 21-year-old.
Yeah, very much so. I think that's the sort of luxury that, if you want to call it that Palace have at the moment with those extra players, those more experienced players, as they coming back from injury, which is big for Crystal Palace. I think Ben Chilwell potentially could be a really good signing if he can stay fit, come up to fitness now.
Branthwaite's lost out to Mateta, who shoots and Pickford saves. What a miss that was by Branthwaite. I just praised him on the edge of the area, but Mateta beat him easily. Actually, it was double mistakes by the two central defenders, the usually reliable pair. Tarkowski sort of flicked it infield to Branthwaite, who was probably unaware, and Mateta nipped it past him. He was effectively one-on-one, Mateta, edge of the area, but shot too close to Pickford, who went down to his right and made a good save, actually.
Yeah, I think it was Jake O'Brien who plays the ball back to Tarkowski, which is not... I mean, Tarkowski's only about 5 yards away from him, and he plays it way to his left. Tarkowski tries to sort of flick it with his heel, and it takes a deflection off him, goes towards Branthwaite and Mateta, and Braithwaite's just not strong enough.
Yeah, as Palace attack again. Shot from Devaney, which very nearly, well, it did slip through the gloves of Pickford, falling to his right, but he got enough on it to force it square, and I don't know if you've seen him, Mark, there, he got to his feet, he grabbed the ball, and he actually patted his heart there, Pickford, as if to say, that had me worried as well.
Yeah, it's a decent strike from distance. It comes through some legs. Yeah, Pickford just gets his handling wrong. What he's fortunate about, and the good part about it, is technically he got it right because he had his body behind the ball. Otherwise, it could have easily have gone through his hands had he not had his position right and in the back of the net. So that's what it's there for. Get behind the ball, get your hands there. If it goes through your hands, you've got the rest of your body to take the brunt of the force, and on that occasion, it worked for him.
So it is Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0. Early stages of this Premier League match here.
OwnPro is a streaming tool designed for beginners and experienced streamers. In this playlist, we'll go over
Saturday tea time match in the Super League that is being watched by Fraser Dainton.
St Helens have taken the lead. It's only taken 5 minutes. Morgan Knowles from around 10 metres crashing through the line for his first try, and Saints' first of the season. Mark Percival adding the extras. St Helens 6, Salford Red Devils 0.
Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0, with Hughes passing the ball through to the edge of the box, but Everton are able to clear it away. It comes back to the fair in the end by Braithwaite, and then Everton concede a throw on the far side of the field. So it remains goalless in the early stages. David Moyes' team back in action just 3 days after that extraordinary finish, really, to the final Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. And certainly the fallout from that has continued, hasn't it, over the course of the last few days. Liverpool will be playing tomorrow against Wolves. That's one of our 5 live commentary matches. And now Arsenal, with their victory at Leicester at lunchtime, have moved to within 4 points of the leaders. Palace give it away, passed straight to Lindstrom, and then Devaney just leaning in on O'Brien, concedes a free kick, and Everton have this free kick inside their own half, but Tarkowski is just going to go back to goalkeeper Pickford.
Yeah, no, look, I thought Jordan Pickford did really well on that initial chance from Arteta. He was in a really good position. He waits, he doesn't go early. He's trying to wait for Jordan Pickford to make a move. He doesn't, he stays on his feet, and he makes a really good save, really good reaction save in the end.
Everton with O'Brien, but he's annoyed with himself there. The right back, as he is at the moment, the Irish international Jake O'Brien just overhit that pass beyond Lindstrom, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Crystal Palace. It's been an impressive run of results, hasn't it, for Crystal Palace, aside from that home defeat against Brentford, and that's where they've struggled, haven't they? In the home results, just 11 points at home in the Premier League this season. Just the 2 league wins here all season, but the recent record away from home is excellent, not least winning at Old Trafford last time they played in the Premier League.
Well, I mean, I think the fact also they won 5 of their last 6 in all competitions, which has helped massively for them for momentum in the Premier League. They've won 3, and that's helped them get a bit of a buffer.
Alcaraz lifts one forward to Harrison. Harrison against Richards, bounces off the American defender, then back to Alcaraz, who might have been fouled by Hughes, and actually referee Taylor says it's the other way round, that when Hughes came and stepped in, he was fouled by the Everton man Alcaraz. Free kick Palace.
Yeah, as the ball bobbles around, Harrison just initially first touch is not bad, can't get control of it. Will Hughes gets back really well, puts himself in a position. Yeah, I think the referee's absolutely right with that decision. He gets back early, and you can see as he gets his foot on the ball, takes a touch with it, that's when Alcaraz tries to kick the ball, and he actually kicks Will Hughes' foot. So the referee's in a perfect position to give the right call.
Yeah, so it's a free kick to Palace on the edge of the box. The Everton fans singing their songs on the far side. They never stopped singing them, did they, on Wednesday, bar that spell of about 15 minutes when, I don't know about you, Mark, I thought, well, that's it, it's over, Liverpool have won this. The place went very quiet.
It looked like it really did, and I think there was a moment, like, you know, you look at Mo Salah, hardly involved in the game all night, and then he pops up and scores that goal to make it 2-1 to Liverpool. You thought that was it. You thought Liverpool would go on to either score a couple more or hold on.
Mark Gay with passes from halfway out towards the right-hand side, looking for Munoz over there, but Everton competitive, and the ball is deflected out of play. Harrison was back there. He's claiming that it was an Everton throw, and referee Anthony Taylor agrees and gives the throw in Everton's way. But I think final word on Wednesday night. To me, that is one of the moments of the season. I think it'll take some to top that goal that Tarkowski scored.
Oh, it was a brilliant goal. If you haven't seen it, you've got to have a look at it, because it was a fantastically struck shot. Big defender up in the our box and just lets loose, goes for it, and rightly so, and it went in like an absolute rocket.
Yes, the proverbial rocket. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0. No fireworks yet in this one, apart from the ones that we saw being let off before kick-off. Here's Mark Gay, this settled Crystal Palace defence, plays it through the middle to Mateta, turns, now gives it to the right-hand side. Munoz, his cross into the box, that is up and headed away by O'Brien, comes out for Palace again, no, 25 yards out. Hughes, a little short on the pass. Sarr, then the cross from Munoz, but he's got too much on that, the right wing back as he is, and it actually in the end is allowed to roll out of play for a throw-in next to the corner flag in front of the White Horse Lane end stand of Selhurst Park.
I think it's a really good ball from Munoz. Maybe slightly overhit it, just ahead of his own teammates, just couldn't get in the box quick enough. Maybe a little bit too much height on it, but that's the right idea. Get that ball nice and early in the box, in between the defenders and the goalkeeper, can cause all sorts of problems.
Yep, Munoz, who scored the opening goal in the FA Cup against Doncaster on Monday night. If you were listening to that match, it's a little tricky for them against the League Two opponents, but they came through in good style in the end, Crystal Palace, and now they've got a cup tie at home against Millwall in the 5th round. Came past Millwall's ground on the train this afternoon, Mark, just after across the Thames on the way to Norwood Junction. Ball's out for a throw to Everton on the halfway line. Gay then passes the ball back to Tarkowski. So very much a local affair when Millwall come here in the FA Cup, and they will bring plenty of supporters to take their places in the Arthur Waite stand on the far side. Ball played forward towards Beto, but that's just put out of play by Lacroix for a throw-in to Everton. Let's make another visit back to St Helens Salford. Fraser Dainton.
2 tries since you were last with me, and 2 tries for 2 debutants. Lewis Murphy from Sydney Roosters, first of all on the left with a great run down the left into the flank, and then Tristan Saylor finding a hole in the defence from 20 metres out. Percival has converted 2 out of 3. Remember, Salford still under sustainability cap restrictions, which means that their starting 13 are all youngsters, and it's showing. Saints 16, Red Devils 0.
Strong start then. 5:30 kick-off there in the Super League, same as here in South London, where it's Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0, and the ball is out for a goal kick that Palace take. Lacroix, as I say, this very secure Crystal Palace back line just now, with a series of clean sheets, actually away from home. They're on a club record run of 5 away clean sheets in a row in all competitions. Here's Lerma in the middle, just stuck the brakes on there as he was running cross-field, came back, and Palace were able just to reset, but then so were Everton as well, as Palace play from right to left in the first half, as they like to do. Here's Richards with all of his hair, to Munoz with the socks down and the red boots over on the far side, back to Richards, pass through the middle. Devaney opens his body, little pass to Sarr just to his right. Munoz now, Palace building this nicely. Hughes 25 yards out, they say shoot, which he does, but he took a couple of touches, so Garner was able to come across and block it, and it bounces out of play for a throw-in to Palace on the far side. Quarter of an hour played.
Yeah, Everton have marshalled well. They've got back early in defence, have been really solid, not giving Crystal Palace any real clear options to try and hit them quickly on the break.
That's the voice of Mark Schwarzer, the Australian World Cup goalkeeper. Bags and bags of Premier League experience watching here just to my right on these famous Palace chairs with casters, which means that we're gliding around on the hardwood floor as we try to get a position to see this crossfield pass from Hughes, which ends up bouncing out of play for a throw into Everton, 10 yards away from their own corner flag. Everton coming into today, Everton in 15th place, but with the run that they've been on, they were 10 points above the relegation zone this morning. I mean, that is a nice cushion now, bearing in mind when David Moyes took over, they were just 1 point above the bottom 3, so it would appear heading towards safety to begin next season in the new stadium again in the Premier League. Everton They won't be taking that for granted, though, as Beto gets his shirt pulled by Hughes, then plays the pass, but that was intercepted, and referee Taylor says at the very last moment, I'm going to bring that back for the free kick. He couldn't have left that much longer.
No, I think it's good refereeing. It really is, because he allows the advantage initially, and then Everton obviously lose the ball. What I am surprised about, that he hasn't pulled out a card, because to me that's a yellow card. Will Hughes clearly just tries to prevent Beto from breaking on Crystal Palace. He pulls his shirt back, and Anthony Taylor there, for me, there's no other option. I think he needs to give a yellow card.
A little lenient free kick then. Jordan Pickford's come right up to the halfway line. We see Oliver Glasner down there, dressed all in black, apart from his white trainers. Pickford, left-footed delivery then, high towards the edge of the box. Richards gets up high and is able to head that away above Tarkowski. And actually, with the defenders forward, Palace break now, and Hughes is just bundled over as he was breaking well inside the Everton half, probably 10-15 yards inside the half. Harrison dicing with the possibility of a yellow card for that challenge. He's not booked either.
Yeah, but see, I don't think that's a yellow card. I really don't. He has every intent to try and get back and make a difference, and trying to intercept from Will Hughes, because Will Hughes certainly isn't the quickest with the ball at his feet. Harrison is definitely quicker. He was getting back, and there's just a slight touch as he crosses over behind him, and there's a slight clip of his legs. But I don't think that's a yellow card. Definitely a free kick, without a doubt, though.
Yeah, no question. So free kick going to be taken by Palace. I think it's raining now, isn't it? Yes. Tanya, our engineer, nods quickly. It is raining again. Free kick in for Palace to the edge of the box, but that's headed up and away for Everton. Comes back towards the edge of the box. A stretch by Lerma, cleared by O'Brien for Everton. Back come Palace again. Lacroix is on the left. That's a nice looking cross, and it's headed goalwards, but saved by Pickford. And I did wonder whether a whistle had gone, but it hasn't. No, Palace come back again. Gay lifts it into the penalty area. Mateta on the stretch. It's come off the head of Tarkowski, and it's behind for the first corner of the match to the home side, Palace.
Yeah, you're right. I thought there may have been a free kick as well. Seemed like it was a bit of a push, or certainly a nudge in the 6-yard box as the ball comes across. It's a decent header. I was a bit surprised by Jordan Pickford just parrying. Thought he could have easily caught that one. Yeah, he definitely could have caught it. I think because earlier on he's let one go through his hands, he's probably not as confident.
Yeah, Gay it was with the header. Mark Gay, the Palace captain. In comes the corner, and it's headed in at the back post. No, the whistle has gone. The goal is ruled out. The offside flag was up.
No, he's claimed that went out
and came back in. And it was an odd one, I must say. I wasn't expecting that to find a way past Pickford. Jefferson Lerma with the header, but as you say, Mark, well spotted.
Yeah, the linesman's flagged for the ball to go out. We'll see it, and we're seeing it on our screens now. Yeah, when you see the ball actually leave the foot, it looks to me like it's clearly gone out. As it goes over, they're going to obviously check it.
Yeah, that's an interesting one, this, because I think I'm right in saying, and we had an issue with the ball over the dead ball line this time last weekend at Birmingham City in the FA Cup. I think the goal line technology along the dead ball line only applies within the goal. So they're using the pictures to see if they can detect that it did indeed go out of play. And the video assistant referee has told Anthony Taylor that their view suggests that it did. So the goal is ruled out. It's still Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0.
Yeah, the image that we saw initially, I thought it was out. And they were very quick to make that decision. But it was a really good header from the far post, and it was a difficult one for Jordan Pickford because it's a really high looping ball with pace to the far post area.
Now free kick given Palace's way for the challenge by Idrissa Gueye on Jefferson Lerma. So a free kick to Palace just inside their own half, and he absolutely tanked into him. Idrissa Gueye took him out.
It was almost like an attempted Aussie rules mark. Taking in the mark on someone's shoulder.
And I have to say, Mark, I've not watched a great deal of Aussie rules over the years, but I've seen enough to know what you mean. Here's Gay running the ball down into his own left back area, and he's being chased there by Alcaraz, Charlie Alcaraz as they call him. Carlos is actually his name. Cleared, but Everton come again, but Garner's pass just dribbles out the play, and it's a throw into Palace in their own left back area. So all in all now, when you look at the fact that we've played over 20 minutes of this match, Pickford's had to make a couple of saves. You know, they've had a near thing there, although it did look as though it was the right decision. Palace have made a good start.
I think they've been really positive. Mateta's been really influential in their attacking moves going forward. He's dropping deep in those pockets, holding the ball up really well, layoff, turn, spun. He's also got support out wide. So at the moment, they're certainly causing a lot more sort of dangers in the Everton half than Everton against Palace.
So 0-0 here. I know we've mentioned the Real Madrid match this afternoon with Jude Bellingham being sent off. Full-time score in that match was 1-1 at Osasuna for Real Madrid, as Beto, now on the edge of the area, and then actually stands on the ball, I think, trips over, and the ball runs away from him, but Everton are able to keep possession. In it comes from the left-hand side. High cross from Mikalenko. It's bounced across the penalty area. It's a bit like Wednesday night all over again, the cross from Mikalenko, but this time there's no Tarkowski on the end of it. Garner, though, on the right for Everton. Left-footed ball nicely towards the back post, but Munoz gets up very well and heads that a good distance away from the penalty area. And in terms of talking of continental matches, Bayer Leverkusen are playing Bayern Munich right now, as I'm sure you're aware. You very much keep tabs on the German football. The top two, the champions against the leaders. It is 0-0. That was a 5:30 kick-off UK time. Harrison now crossing from the left-hand side. It's all the way over to Lindstrom here, who has to allow it to run. Lindstrom, he crosses it into the 6-yard box. Header away by Richards. Got down on the edge of the 6-yard area. That was a good ball from Lindstrom. Then Gay goes down. Suggested he should have had a free kick. Referee Taylor's not having any of that. Play continues though. Everton, cross from Lindstrom, hangs in the air. Beto gets his head to it near the edge of the box. Headed away by Sarr for Palace, and then further forward to Mateta. Mateta now direct running at the Everton defenders. He's got 4 of them round him. Then he drags it away from Tarkowski. Has his ankles clipped. Down he goes. Referee's played an advantage, and Sarr plays it to Munoz on the right-hand side. Mateta is still down. He's not got to his feet yet, and there are boos because the free kick wasn't given and it's come to nothing. It's one of those for the referee to play an advantage like that. Mateta is now on his feet. Gay's ball to the edge of the area, headed away by Branthwaite. Palace again through the middle. Lerma, and then Garner's in. The ball bounces for Palace. Gay is onto that like a flash. Gives it to Mitchell. Mitchell, a high cross towards the back post, which is headed away for Everton, and then Jack Harrison is onto this and is forced to play it out of play for a throw to Palace.
Yeah, I think so, playing at advantage. I mean, it's obviously what you'd want from the referee, but on this occasion it was a disadvantage to Palace because Mateta stayed on the floor, and because he was on the ground, they didn't have that focal point anymore, and they were sort of kind of passing the ball around, waiting for him to get up or seeing him get up or not, and eventually he did, and by that stage Everton were able to regroup.
They were. I think if he'd had that one again, he would have given the free kick, Anthony Taylor. Throw in then that Lerma is just winding up to take. This is in front of where the Everton supporters are, in good numbers, although we can only see approximately the first 8 rows of them. As that throw-in is taken, Gay flicks it on. Lacroix was after it. Tarkowski got there first with his head, and then Palace recovered possession inside the penalty area, stretched by Devaney. He couldn't get his foot to it though, and here is Beto carrying the ball forward to the halfway line, but his attempted pass to Harrison landed on the head of Palace's Munoz, and Everton start again from inside their own half. Back to St Helens, Salford, and Fraser Dainton again.
It's going from bad to worse for what is effectively the Salford Red Devils youth team. They're trailing now by 28 points to 0. 2 more tries for St Helens. Curtis Sirison making the best of a couple of missed tackles, and then a dab into the corner, and Harry Robertson taking advantage. Percival has kicked 4 from 5. St Helens leading Salford Red Devils by 28 points to 0.
So one-way traffic there. 0-0 here, Crystal Palace and Everton. This is 5 Live from the BBC. Listen as well if you're on the move on this Saturday evening via BBC Sounds, all live BBC radio you can find on the BBC Sounds app. Hughes playing it to Mateta, and then back to Lerma, who finds the pass to Mitchell. He's able to bring it down, gives it back to Lerma infield to Will Hughes, and then Richards crosses the halfway line, the right-sided central defender of the 3 that Palace use. Lerma. Here is Maxence Lacroix, who is the number 5, the middleman in that defence. then back to Richards, and Palace just knocking it around in the central third, trying to find a position to put pressure on Everton. Mark Gay, now the captain, goes back into his own half. Mark Gay features on the front of the match programme today here at Selhurst Park. They're celebrating 100 years of football at Selhurst Park this season, as Will Hughes is caught in possession and Harrison's able to take it on. There was a touch there from Munoz, and then Richards was in to slide it out of play on the far side for an Everton throw.
Yeah, it's really good covering, defending from Munoz there, getting back, just sticking his toe in, sort of in behind Harrison, unbeknownst that he was there. But it was really good recovery work.
Throw in then Everton, level with the edge of the penalty area, which Harrison gives back to Mikolenko, and then the full-back couldn't force the ball with any power into the penalty area. Will Hughes was doing his work in there. Devaney now just keeps his feet against Alcaraz. Hughes, left-footed ball over the top, that's for Munoz to chase. Pickford is first and whacks it out of play near the halfway line for a Palace throw, which they take quickly. And Hughes, they get it moving again, back to Gay in the centre circle. And now Lacroix again to Richards over there on the right-hand side. Richards ball to Will Hughes, and Palace again just keeping possession in the central third of the field, and using now Devaney, who's dropped a little deeper. Took his goal very well at Doncaster on Monday, but he's been dispossessed by a combination of Lindstrom and Alcaraz. And now Harrison carries it forward. Harrison's angle ball into the box. Lindstrom's ball across. Goalkeeper does well there. Henderson diving down in amongst all of the feet. Got a hand to it, but he's taken a knock. Palace have cleared it.
Yeah, I think he's taken a full boot to his face. His own defender. He does really well, Henderson. The ball comes across the 6-yard box. He's diving back towards the centre of the 6-yard box. Gets a really good hand on it. His own Lacroix. I think it's Lacroix who as he's trying to reach across to try and defend. Yeah, that's going to be pretty painful. That
could be a nasty one, Mark.
That could be, yeah. It didn't look good at all.
It was like the underside of his boot, wasn't it? Lacroix's boot seemed to catch him on the side of the face, and he's lying face down in the 6-yard box. He is moving, I'm pleased to say, and actually now he's just easing himself up onto his knees. But if he's got away with that, you know, without a cut or without some damage, he is quite fortunate.
I think so, yeah. I think that it seems to me like a pretty big hit. I'm surprised he's up on his haunches or up on his knees already. I felt that he might not be getting up for a little while, but it looks like he'll be okay.
Yeah, brave goalkeeping. There's a lovely ball across, actually, on the volley from Lindstrom, who caught it and just played it across the, as they say, the corridor of uncertainty on the edge of the 6-yard box. So defenders are there facing their goalkeeper diving out. That's how the collisions happen. You'll have been in those situations, I expect, over the years on a number of times.
I think, yeah, I have been on a number of occasions. I think it was his nose, potentially, because it looks like he's got some tissue or something in his nose, stuck in his nose. There may have some blood coming from that area. Yeah, it is definitely his nose. Yeah, it was a pretty big hit. And I'll tell you what, he's looking okay considering how big a force.
I think he's looking a bit shaky, I must say. And actually,
it looks like he might be coming off.
I think he might be coming off, because they began to walk him out of the 6-yard box, but now he's stopped again. And they've given him a bottle of water. He's swigging from that. This is the Crystal Palace and England goalkeeper Dean Henderson we're talking about, who took a bang to the face from the foot of his own defender. You think he's staying?
Yeah, it looks like he's staying. I don't think he is going. Looked like for a moment I thought, like you thought, looked like he was going to start walking off with the medical staff, and no, he's staying. He looks okay.
You say he looks okay, apart from that swab that's sticking out of his left nostril, and yeah, he's been given the all clear to continue. The battered nose, and he's walking to the edge of the area, bouncing the ball, and there we are. He's going to play on. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0 on 5 Live. He delivers it downfield, and Tarkowski heads it back to the halfway line. Beto heads it on. Alcaraz pulls that down. He's going to shoot from distance and test Henderson, but it was more or less straight at him from 30 yards, and he was able to gather it up on the bounce.
Yeah, Alcaraz could see, because Henderson was off his line a little bit, And as the ball was flicked on by Beto, he takes a touch on his right foot, opens up, and decides to have a strike. And I tell you what, Henderson does really well. His footwork is brilliant. Gets back into his 6-yard box, and he gets it just on the bounce before him and scoops it up, and very cleanly.
Smart move though as well by Alcaraz to have a go. You know, you got a sight of goal, and he thought, I'm going to see how he is. The Argentine, as Richards plays it back to Henderson. I'm not sure he necessarily would have wanted that with Harrison bearing down on him, but he has cleared it away. And now Lerma's ball over the top for Palace, but Branthwaite for Everton heads it down, and Munoz has it on the right-hand side. Did you break your nose, Mark, at all during your time?
What do you think?
Well,
of course.
How many times?
Yeah, numerous times.
Really?
Yeah, numerous times. Yeah.
So many I've lost count.
Absolutely. I tell you now, it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I've never done that, actually.
Yeah, the ball from pace from very close on, or collisions, numerous times.
Yeah. What was the worst one?
Well, I actually broke it when I was a kid, or a teenager.
We'll come back to that because here's Harrison as Everton win the ball back. Alcaraz is going to have another goal from 25 yards, but that was the wrong decision. He hit it high over the top of the bar into the Holmesdale Road stand, and it's a goal kick to Palace.
Yeah, he kind of got the ball sort of bobbled up, didn't it, on the turn. As he turned, sort of bounced up a little bit, and he got right underneath it. And it's just right over the centre of the goals, but about 10 foot above the crossbar. Yes. So no danger to Henderson on this occasion whatsoever.
But going back to the tales of Mark Schwartz's nose.
Yeah, so I broke it initially not on the football pitch. It's a long story, but I broke it and wasn't great, and then I literally came back, played, and the very first game back I got hit.
Ooh.
Stuck bang on the middle of the nose again.
Which you don't want.
And it was minus degrees, and it was just, horrendous.
Yeah. Here is Idrissa Gueye, who I've just noticed is wearing a pair of grey tights, isn't he? Idrissa Gueye. It's not that cold, is it? As Everton play it back into the left-back area. Maybe he's just reached the point where I know a lot of people have this winter where he's thought, that's it, I can't take this anymore. And Idrissa Gueye is wearing grey tights underneath his shorts. Here he is, the little number 27, just receives the ball on the edge of his own penalty area, turns and plays it across the back line to Branthwaite, and then forward from Pickford back to Branthwaite. Don't worry, Mark, I'm not going to ask you if you've ever worn tights. As Tarkowski delivers an awful ball down and the ball drifts straight out of play. That wasn't his finest moment of the week, Tarkowski.
No, it wasn't, no. But I mean, I think, you know what, at the moment it's because of the way that Palace are playing, pressure on the ball, didn't have a lot of options, and he just slightly miscues that one.
An extremely well wrapped up, I don't know if it's a ball boy or a ball girl down there, because they're so well wrapped up. Picks the ball up, delivers it back, ball through the middle now by Lacroix, looking for Mateta, but Pickford was very sharp there. The England goalkeeper quickly out of his penalty area, still 0-0 if you just switched on, and now Sarr attacking the penalty area, bounces to Mateta in the box, it's rattling around in there. Everton man goes down, and referee Taylor does give the free kick. I thought he might. Tarkowski stepped into what was a real stramash, as they say, and won the free kick.
I'll tell you what, Mateta, he gets the ball in the 6-yard box. It's through a whole lot of players. It's a difficult one. There's a whole lot of players in front of him. I don't think he sees it. He gets his first touch, just isn't enough to create any space from him. I think it's Jake O'Brien who's really tight on him. Yeah, you can see that. Jake O'Brien does really well, I have to say. And then it's Mateta who fouls James Tarkowski.
And then there's a challenge by O'Brien on the halfway line on Mitchell that is not given as a free kick. And Everton have a throw on the halfway line. You heard the noise there from the Palace supporters. I thought there was quite a lot of the dive in that from Tarkowski inside his own penalty area as well, Mark, by the way.
No, I think it was definitely a foul, Mateta there, because when he loses the ball and Tarkowski comes sweeping in and collects it and runs across the face of his 6-yard box, Mateta just quickly tries to stick out his leg to try and block it, and he actually clips him.
Slick move from Everton, but Beto loses out to Munoz, then charges down the attempted clearance, but the referee's already given the free kick Crystal Palace's way. So into the last 10 minutes of the first half, it is 0-0 here at Selhurst Park. If you've been out and about today and you haven't heard, Arsenal at lunchtime won 2-0 at Leicester. Late goals from Mikel Merino So the midfielder stepped up with the goals in the absence of so many of the Arsenal forward players. We also had a first hat-trick, his first goals for Manchester City from Omar Marmoush, as Manchester City beat Newcastle 4-0. Quite a win for them ahead of Madrid in the week. And also wins for Bournemouth. Fulham beat Nottingham Forest. Brentford won at West Ham. And Aston Villa and Ipswich drew 1-1. Celtic's 3-0 winners against Dundee United. And Sheffield United back on top in the Championship after their 1-0 win at bottom of the table Luton. We'll have more on all of that and much more at half-time in this match, where Hughes plays it forward. Munoz gets there first ahead of Mikolenko, and then back it comes for Palace. Lerma, right-footed ball, headed away by Branthwaite on the edge of his own penalty area. Lerma did have the ball in the net earlier in the match, but the ball from the corner had gone out before it came back in, as Mitchell crosses from the left, and that's caught comfortably and well, securely in front of his face by Jordan Pickford. And it is Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0. In the Rugby League, St Helens winning well against Salford in the 5:30 kickoff, and the Six Nations will be back this time next week. 5 Live, as well as all of the Premier League commentaries and the Champions League this coming midweek. Six Nations commentaries as well. And this time next week you will be listening to England-Scotland if you tune in to 5 Live, and the Aston Villa-Chelsea match will be on Sports Extra before it then crosses over once the Rugby Union is finished. But yes, Wales, Ireland and England-Scotland next Saturday afternoon, and the Rugby Union Weekly is currently every day on BBC Sounds, the podcast. Here's Lerma, his right-footed pass onto the chest of Mitchell, who'd come back from an offside position. So it is a free kick to Everton. Palace with the early chances, but since then, Mark, really just that ball from Lindstrom across actually is the closest thing that we've had that ended up in the injury to Henderson.
Yeah, that was the closest Everton have come in this game. They've had a couple of decent balls across the 6-yard box just before that as well. The last-ditch little defending, little clicks through, no one on the end of it. And then there was that one through ball from Mateta where Jordan Pickford did really well to come out rapidly towards the edge of his box and make the clearance.
At half-time, we're going to hear from Mikel Merino, incidentally, as well as Kieran McKenna after their point at Villa Park, and Eddie Howe as well, the Newcastle United manager, all coming up at half-time. 0-0. Mitchell is down and the referee is going to stop play because Mitchell's taken a bang on the head. I think I can hear the rain on the roof of the stand here, so I think it has increased in intensity on this rather miserable afternoon weather-wise.
Yeah, you can see it. So when you look to the left from where we're sitting, you can see it in the distance there. Where the Everton fans are sitting, if that direction, you can see it.
It's really bouncing off the top of the main stand, this corrugated roof stack, absolutely classic piece of English football architecture, this main stand here with the posts and all of the maze of black metal work. Mitchell is okay, they've had a look at him, and in fact I don't think they did come onto the field because he stayed on the pitch, but he's all right and plays back underway as we approach half-time here on this wet afternoon in South London. Near Croydon, home of culture, it said on the railway platform that I was on earlier this afternoon. Lerma to Sarr. Sarr rolls it over there to Munoz. Munoz takes a couple of touches, then comes infield. Harrison goes with him. Harrison playing in the absence of Njai. It sounds like they're going to be out without him for a little while with that knee injury as it comes back for Palace on the halfway line. Lacroix to his right to Richards, who has a foray forward. Richards still going, he's gone through a couple of tackles and then into another one on the edge of the box. It runs to Mateta. Now the chance from the angle is clattered against the crossbar by Sarr, arriving onto the edge of the 6-yard box and on the stretch could only shoot up into the underside of the crossbar. It bounced down and away, and Everton rather relieved to have cleared it.
Well, it was almost Beckenbauer-esque, wasn't it? From Richards making that darting run, about 4 or 5 defenders he beat along the way. Got a little bit fortunate on a couple of occasions. Last-ditch sort of attempt. Mateta's touch to Sarr was brilliant in the box, and Sarr just smashes it, and it hits the underside of the crossbar, and just not enough for Palace to go over the line.
So close. It was a really firmly hit shot, but against the bar, bounced down and away. Palace come again. So that now officially the closest that we've come to a goal in this match. From the Palace number 7, Ismail Assar. Everton have won it back. Alcaraz, he's got Beto in the middle, he finds Beto, and Beto stabs it past Henderson and in, and Everton have the lead. Palace will be kicking themselves for losing possession inside their own half. Everton swept downfield, and it's that man, Beto, again under David Moyes. 4 goals now in his last 3 Premier League appearances. He's a new man. And it's Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1.
Absolutely ruthless from Everton, winning the ball high up, right near the halfway line against Crystal Palace, who had the throw-in, lose possession, and then Alcaraz and Beto, they're 2 against 1. Alcaraz is all about the timing. When would he pass the ball? Lay the ball off square. Munez was undecided. Does he come to the ball? No. As he plays the ball across the face of Beto, takes a touch and just pokes it past Henderson. Really good finish, really cool and calm. And Alcaraz does superbly well as well.
Yeah, really composed finish in the penalty area, probably 10 yards out. Just waited and slipped it as the defender slid in with Henderson, but clipped it past them into the net. Really composed finish. But Palace losing it, Mark, from their own throw. Tyrick Mitchell was looking to throw it back to Mark Gay, but he threw it over him. And Alcaraz just ran onto it, said thanks very much, down the field, set up Beto, who scored.
Yeah, it's just like a setup for Everton. It was like they had the throw and caught Palace out. That's how simple it was. And then when they did have the ball, they're still a long way away. Alcaraz does really well, keeps his calm, running towards goal. Like I said, Munez wasn't sure. Does he go to him? Does he not? Because he knows Beto's there free. He's trying to judge the two. Doesn't get it quite right. The ball from Alcaraz is superb. And then Beto does really, really well. Really cool and calm in possession. He just, as you can see that, as the defender comes across and Henderson comes out, he picks the gap between the two and hits it back across into that near post area. Really good finish.
And for a team that's conceded only 2 goals in their last 6 matches in all competitions, kept 5 clean sheets in that time, that's an awful goal to concede. Tarkowski plays it all the way back to goalkeeper Pickford. So they've ridden their luck, Everton. Pickford's made a couple of saves. Sarr had the chance, really just a minute or 2 before the goal with the shot that hit the crossbar. And now Palace, who've struggled for much of the season here at Selhurst Park, find themselves 1-0 down. And Everton, under David Moyes, again looking like, can we say a different team? Certainly Beto's a different player.
Well, he's definitely a different player. Going forward, they're certainly a greater threat. And I think Beto, obviously, with him finding form, confidence, self-belief, the manager obviously has a massive part to play in that. They look at a different outfit going forward. But let's be honest, it was against a run of play. It was Palace's own undoing. They gave the opportunity to Everton, and Everton on this occasion were ruthless.
Beto, 7 goals now this season he's got, but the recent goals under David Moyes, started now 4 matches in a row. Because Calvert-Lewin's out injured, Breuer as well. So, he didn't have much choice, but whatever David Moyes has done with Beto, it has worked. And that was a lovely finish, really, a bit like the finish against opening goal. 2 goals in the win against Leicester, and now the opening goal here. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1, and we're into added time at the end of the first half. And Palace attacking, but Sarr won't reach that. Everton have got it in their own right back position. 4 minutes of added time in the at the end of this first half. They're already at half-time in the Super League with you, Fraser Dainton.
We are indeed, and it's been a real baptism of fire for these Salford Red Devils young players. They've conceded 7 St Helens tries. Morgan Knowles and Harry Robertson both helping themselves to 2 apiece. It's been one-way traffic, but Saints don't look like they've really got out of second gear. Half-time here, 38 points to 0, St Helens lead.
1-0 to Everton here. The Everton supporters in good voice again, shaping up to be a very decent week for them. There is more live sport on 5 Live later tonight from Manchester, from the new arena there, as Gay launches one forward, but O'Brien is underneath and he's headed it to Sarr. He's given possession back to Palace, and then Garner in with a challenge, went shoulder first, bundled him over. Anthony Taylor gives the free kick, and a good chance for a set piece on the left wing for Palace.
Yeah, just a little, it just didn't need to do it. He had numbers there. It was just the way he sort of, it was a shoulder, but he sort of threw his arm out as well. just made it too easy for Anthony Taylor to give a free kick against him.
Wasn't very subtle.
No, that's the thing, right? And he's got lots of his teammates around him. He doesn't need to do it, and now he gives a free kick away in a very dangerous position.
So Devaney is going to take this young Northern Irish international, although he was born in Scotland, the number 55, Devaney, takes this into the back post, and Pickford backing away there, saw it all the way into his gloves and caught it comfortably, and all of that comes to absolutely nothing for Crystal Palace. So they had the early chances, and that shot against the crossbar, that must be one of the analysts, is it, running down the touchline with his laptop tucked underneath the arm. He'll have some messages to show the team at half-time, as Lacroix has it on the edge of the box. Yes, we will have the boxing live from Manchester, which will start on Sports Extra, by the way, from round about 7:30, and here on 5 Live, 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. So we'll hear from one of those two at half-time as well, and we'll tell you when the lines are open to get in touch with them. As Richards, it's a long pass forward for Palace, and then it's hooked back downfield centrally by Branthwaite. It's a throw into Palace halfway inside their own half. We've had 3 minutes of the 4 of added time at the end of the first half. Everton will absolutely take this, Mark, won't they?
Oh, they'll be delighted. David Moyes will be delighted. Yes, they've given Palace have had a few opportunities. They didn't take them. Everton have been well organised. They've worked hard. Better up front's been really good. Alcaraz has been really good, just in terms of their work rate, closing Palace down. And obviously they get that one chance, the only real clear-cut chance of the first 45 minutes for Everton, and they make the most of it.
I have a feeling that the Everton fans, some of them, had given up on Beto, in terms of whether he'd make it up front, but suddenly he is providing exactly what Everton need. Here's Lacroix, who does well on the edge of his own box.
He works hard. He really does work hard. Every time I've watched him play, he works really hard, and obviously he's added goals to it now as well, which is what you want him for.
Works hard and scores goals. The perfect mix for a central defender. Oh, Mitchell's given it away. Beto now through to Lindstrom. The angle's tight. He pulls it back, and he passes it straight into the path of Lerma, who's able to see it back to his goalkeeper. And there we are. That is the half-time whistle here. Mark Schwarzer. More from us in the second half, but we have to go straight to Mark Chapman. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1 the score.
Thank you very much, John and Mark. Second half on the way. Let's just remind you what happened in the Premier League this afternoon at lunchtime. 2 Mikel Merino goals gave Arsenal a 2-0 win at Leicester to take them within 4 points of Liverpool at the top of the table.
Meet GoDaddy Aero, our AI-powered experience that'll take your business idea online in minutes. Just enter a brief description and GoDaddy Aero will generate a domain name, logo and landing page for your business, all of which you can customize. It'll even create emails and social posts to grow your digital presence. This game changer is included with every new domain order, so kickstart your online business today with GoDaddy.
Left visibly angry at something said to him by Preston's Milutin Osmajic, Scott Parker confirmed after the match that had been reported to the match officials. Hannibal has said on Instagram this evening, "I will not be silent about what happened today. I will always call out racism whenever I hear or see it. That is the only way we change a society. I am a strong person, but nobody should have to experience this disgusting abuse on the pitch." In reply, Preston say Osmajic has strongly refuted the claims of a comment and say they will cooperate with any investigation. In League One this afternoon, leaders Birmingham beat Charlton 1-0 with a Jay Stansfield goal. Wickham in second were held at Crawley. Wrexham in third won at Northampton. Walsall, the League Two leaders, came from behind to beat Chesterfield. AFC Wimbledon went second with a win over Salford. In the Scottish Premiership, Celtic are 16 points clear after a 3-0 win over Dundee United. Bottom of the table, St Johnstone were beaten at Kilmarnock. Reaction to all the day's football to come. We'll look ahead to the evening's boxing as well after Stuart Clarkson.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Mark, thank you. The Foreign Office says it's determined to ensure the safe return of a British couple who've been detained in Iran. Craig and Lindsay Foreman were arrested last month. This was only revealed by Iranian state media on Thursday. It has been reported the pair face unspecified security charges. The Foreign Secretary's urged European nations to do more to support Ukraine in the war against Russia. David Lammy's been speaking after President Zelensky said Europe needed to create a shared army and that the continent could no longer rely on the US to defend it. A woman and her 2-year-old daughter have died from injuries suffered when a car rammed into people in Munich on Thursday. 36 people were injured. Police believe the attacker, a 24-year-old Afghan asylum seeker, may have had an Islamist motivation. Police are searching for a man wanted in connection with the shooting dead of a woman last night at a pub near Sevenoaks in Kent. A weapon's been recovered from a vehicle that was found at the Dartford crossing. And 3 Israeli hostages have been released today by Hamas and Islamic Jihad in the 6th round of exchanges under the Gaza ceasefire deal. In return, hundreds of Palestinians who'd been detained by Israel were also freed.
Matt Chorley here, and you're all invited to join my political party on 5 Live. Order! Order! Not that kind of party. We've got quizzes. Name as many of the artists making up the top 10 albums sold in 2024. Wham! No. We've got celebrities. Joe Lycett's here. Hello. Oh, hang on, I've not put your mic up. Hello. And we've even got prizes. You get certificates and a kicks, but don't just take my word for it. I call Matt Chorley. Monday to Fridays from 2. Just ask your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio 5 Live. This is 5 Live Sports
with Mark Chapman.
Listen on BBC Sounds.
Let's bring you some reaction to the afternoon's Premier League football, and we'll start with Arsenal because Mikel Merino came off the bench to get 2 late goals to give them a 2-0 win at Leicester, and he hadn't even thought about playing as a striker until earlier today.
Big news for me when this morning one of the assistants just told me that it was an option. Yeah, it is the first time in my career, well, practically ever, that I play this position. But the good thing is that the way this team plays, I think everybody knows what everybody has to do. So, yeah, I just try to do my best. Mikel told me to just try to use my strengths, be in the box, win duels, try to hold the ball. Yeah, I was in the right place at the right moment, and my teammates put some amazing balls. So, 2 goals and, most important, 3 points for the team.
So you've not trained there? You've not played there as a kid, maybe?
Maybe when I was 8, 9 years old, but not since. And I haven't trained there once. So it was just, I think of the moment, I just tried to emulate all these guys that are injured now and cannot help us. I did my part and really happy for the team for the win.
See everything match the day. BBC One 10:25 this evening. Manchester City are 4th. They thrashed Newcastle 4-0 at the Etihad. Omar Mamouche got a first half hat-trick, one of 3 January signings to start the game. Here's Pep Guardiola.
They arrive, you have to think about it, they arrive in the middle of the season in the toughest period in the last 8-9 years. It's not easy to settle here. But we knew all of them, they have quality. They have come for a, I would say, the illusion, you know, to make my career here, and this is what I'm looking for. No players to come here to retire or something like that. And you need time. So the potential is there, and of course Omar happy for the 3 goals. Hopefully can handle good the compliments is going to happen and ready for the next games.
Newcastle themselves could have gone 4th with the win, but that's now 16 defeats in a row for them at the Etihad. Here's Eddie Howe.
Yeah, it wasn't very good. Disappointed with that start to the game. I thought we could be competitive today. I really wanted a really good physical, energetic, dynamic performance, but we didn't see it, and I think that's the biggest disappointment. Our physical output, when you compare it to recent game against Arsenal, where we were outstanding, just wasn't there. We were reactive, we were losing duels. So really, I think that the physical thing was probably a big negative for us today, and then you back that up with all the other aspects of our game followed suit. So naturally, when you come here and you know the level of performance has to be really high to get something from it, yeah, everything followed suit really.
I suppose what you do know about this group of players is they have that ability to bounce back, and presumably you would back them to do that once again this season.
Well, I think character-wise, I don't doubt the players at all, and there's certainly a willingness to perform well today. No one intended to perform badly. I think we've got a great dressing room in that respect, and when we lose, we do it collectively, and we share that pain around. Now we have to use it positively to perform again in our next game. Tough one against Nottingham Forest. We're in the middle of a tough fixture list, but certainly we know that today wasn't good enough.
Axel Tuanzebe was sent off for Ipswich late in the first half for 2 bookable offences, but they still took the lead at Villa Park through Liam Delap. Ollie Watkins got the equaliser, leaves Kieran McKenna's side within 2 points of safety.
That was a different type of performance for sure. I think at 11v11 it was a good performance, really solid performance. It was a fairly even game, which coming away to here is no mean feat. But with 11v10 it was certainly an incredibly gutsy performance. We showed incredible resilience, organisation defensively was top, and we're really clinical with the one opportunity that we got as well. So yeah, there's lots of good things in there.
I know you'll hope this to be the case, but do you believe you'll get something from this with 13 games to go?
Oh, look, you can't guarantee anything. I say you can't guarantee anything in terms of points and places at the end of the season. I can guarantee that we're not going to leave anything out there in terms of work rate. As a staff, as a group of players, the spirit's really strong. We're going to fight every game, and I believe that we're improving. We can play some good football, and we can defend really well as well. So it's trying to work really hard to put all that together in this league is a challenge, but I think we're in a stronger position now than we were at the start of the season, and let's see what we can do in the next 13 games.
Bournemouth are 5th after a 3-1 win at Southampton. Here's Andoni Iraola with Henry Moran.
Can you start thinking about European football now? Are you planning for it?
No, we are not. You know what I'm going to tell you, no? We don't look too much to the standings. I think we have 43 points. It's very good in this moment of the season, but for me, my concern is to keep the performance level. If we keep this performance level, we will be in a good spot whenever you fight for something at the end of the season. But it's easy to say for me, but it's obviously difficult to keep this level of performance.
It almost felt as though your players had too much space, that there was indecision because of the opportunity that was there. Could it have been more? Should it have been more today?
I think both teams we are quite aggressive in our press, and we leave some spaces behind, so it could be a very open game. I think we started very strong. We made the difference straight away, 2-0. The first half, I think we controlled the game very well. But 2-0 is always risky because you know that if you don't kill the game, you don't score the third one. As soon as you concede one, they are going to push you, they are going to start taking some more risk, and the key was to score the third one. And once Taff scored the third one, I think we finished the game well.
And to Nottingham Forest next, who were beaten 2-1 at Fulham. Here's Nuno.
It was a tough game, a competitive one. I think in the first half, Fulham causes a lot of problems. We were aware of the trains on the wide areas, the crossing, not able to control. The second half, we start losing duels, allowing too many set pieces, and then in the end, it was about trying to go back. But
why do you think that was today? That, as you say, you were losing duels, and why? It's easy probably to put your finger on it, but
I wish I knew. This is the point. These small details in the game that makes a lot of difference. Something that we have to learn and improve.
What about Chris Wood? 18th Premier League goal of the season, and it was a great finish.
Yeah. I think he made it by himself. Chris is giving us more than the goals, a lot of help, the team, and their knowledge and experience. We are glad to have him.
Is that a reflection of what the Premier League is like? One week you're winning 7-0 at home against Brighton, and the next you're losing at Fulham.
This is the reality of the Premier League. There's no result that you can predict.
So plenty to react to, and on Valentine's weekend, rather than going out for a romantic night, why not phone Chris?
Where do I start with that intro?
Couldn't think of anything better.
I love your sincerity. So, yeah, I mean, want to hear from Arsenal fans, really. Marino at the double, but how have they got into this situation with no striker being brought in January? Big win for them today, close the gap at the top. Manchester City, was that your best performance of the season? And you can take that into confidence into the week with the game against Real Madrid. I think Newcastle were miles off. I think Blackburn Rovers are really interesting. John Eustace has left Blackburn Rovers, who are in a playoff position, and gone to Derby. who are in a relegation fight at the bottom. Blackburn fans want to hear from you. Why did he leave Blackburn? Was that the right decision to make? Ipswich Town, Mr. Fields, my daughter's teacher, he was very negative about their chances today at Aston Villa.
Was he?
Yes, very negative.
Is he happy for you to reveal that?
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't care. I like Mr. Fields, but I am absolutely delighted for him. They got a point. Can you still stay in the Premier League, Ipswich Town fans? They are giving it a good go, aren't they? The Ipswich Town fans travelling across on the A14. I've driven that road many times. Let's hear from you. And Bournemouth, written off by a few people on 5 Live today. Bournemouth up to 5th, aren't they? Can they get European football?
Who've they been written off by?
James McFadden was quite negative about them earlier, wasn't he? He was. So Bournemouth fans. Let's hear from you.
And with one eye on those Champions League games this week, Real Madrid drew 1-1 at Osasuna earlier. Jude Bellingham was sent off just before half-time. Bayern Munich, who play Celtic this week, they are goalless at the break away to Bayer Leverkusen. Although just at the end of the first half, Harry Kane looked like he picked up quite a nasty facial injury going for a header. So we'll just keep an eye on whether he comes out for that second half. There was no blood, but he was rubbing his cheek furiously as he went off down the tunnel at the end of the first half. 08085 909 693. 5 Live boxing on the way from 9 o'clock tonight. Steve Bunce, part of our team in Manchester, ready for this. What are we expecting from Catrell Barbosa Jr.?
It's one of those horrible fights, Shepard. It's not for a real world title, it's for an interim world title, and you're fighting an unbeaten American. Arnold Barbosa, 31-0. He's stopped enough men. He's classy, he's skillful. He believes that Catrell's people have made a big mistake. Catrell is all against it. And you know what? Poor Jack needs a bit of luck. He's had no luck in his boxing career.
No, and in fact, Barry Jones has said it'd be an injustice if he never won a world title.
He would, I think he'd be in the top 3 of British boxers to have retired having never won a world title. That's how it would be. And he'd be in there with some absolute giants of the boxing business. Barry was absolutely right. Catrell a couple of years ago looked like he'd won all 4 belts in a showdown with Edinburgh's Josh Taylor. Didn't get the decision. And then basically became invisible for a year or so. He's fought his way back into absolute contention. This is for the interim title. Barbosa stands between him and where he wants to be. This title will be upgraded to full title. So really, chappers, whisper it. This is for the real world title tonight. They're just calling it interim. It's boxing. Don't expect me to give you a sense at 5:16 or 7:16 or 8:20 at night. Come on, chappers.
All right, 6:34.
There we go.
Thank you very much. Enjoy the new arena in Manchester. Steve Bunce there. By the way, they've just done the draw for the next round of the Challenge Cup. Salford against Bradford, Widnes versus Warrington, St Helens will take on Leeds, Hull KR at home to Oldham, Lee versus Batley, Catalan Featherstone, Huddersfield versus Wakefield, and the holders Wigan will be at home to Hull FC. Just looking at Bayer Leverkusen, Bayern, and Harry Kane is out for the second half. They're about to kick off at Selhurst Park. Everton lead Palace by a goal to 0. John Murray.
Yes, I walked past the new arena in Manchester this week and I was thinking of you. They were,
were you?
They were advertised.
I haven't played it.
Not yet. There's time yet. No, Morrissey is on, I think, this summer. So for some reason that made me think of you.
Did it?
Yes. Anyway, off we go in the second half. Crystal Palace 0, Everton 1, and Palace 1-0 down have made a couple of changes. Adam Wharton and Eberici Eza, 2 of the favourites here, are on. So Eza, who has had a little foot problem, but is on. So Devaney and Lerma are off. And already Palace attacking towards the Holmesdale Road stand to our right have got themselves a throw-in level with a free kick level with the edge of the penalty area. In fact, it's a little bit further than that. Eza's going across there to take it. So an early chance, Mark Schwarzer sitting next to me, an early chance for Crystal Palace to put pressure on Everton here.
Yeah, it is, and it's a really good position for Eza to really whip that cross into the box. There's a lot of Palace players in there as well, along with Everton.
So Eza then, first involvement, in comes the ball. Richards with a header, which I think came off the head of the defender in front of him. It did, says referee Taylor. Tarkowski jumping with him, headed it down, but into Tarkowski, and it deflected over the top for a corner.
Yeah, it was a heavy sort of coming together of plays. I think Branthwaite was in the middle of that as well. So there was any number of plays. His delivery was good, really right. Good direction.
You're right. It was Branthwaite who was closest to him. So here's the corner. Eza takes this deep one to the back post, and Everton underneath that. Alcaraz heads it away. Alcaraz, who set up the goal at the end of the first half, comes back into the box. Mateta with a chance, scores with his left foot. A little glance into his path, and in the second minute of the second half, Palace are back level, and it's Mateta. Could hardly miss that, middle of the goal. His 14th of the season. Crystal Palace 1, Everton 1.
Yeah, brilliant finish from Mateta there. I mean, even though he was only, 6 yards out, 7 yards out when he takes the shot, there's every chance. If he doesn't get the connection right, he could still miss. He just strokes it into the bottom corner. No chance for Jordan Pickford. I think it's James Tarkowski. It's a really tight call. We'll have to wait and see. It looks really, really tight as well on that replay. Whether or not Mateta's actually onside or not, we'll have to see. But it was really tight.
It was hooked forward on the edge of the area. It's Mark Gay, and Mateta, what's that, 8 yards out, just allowed it to drop. The question will be, we've not restarted yet. I think it's onside.
Yeah, it looks from there. Yeah, from that where they've had the still shot there, he looks onside. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, they'll have to go through the routine of drawing the lines. We had the news this week, didn't we, that we will have the trial of semi-automated offside in this country during the FA Cup next month, the FA Cup matches. We saw it in the Champions League this week, where I was rather surprised at Manchester City that it actually took quite a long time, that decision.
Well, yeah, also I did Brest.
Need a high-quality AI voice like this for your content? Just simply select from our vast collection
per decision. But this is a decision in the old-fashioned VAR style. It does look onside to our eyes.
Yeah.
But still, we've not restarted play, so we're waiting to find out if Jean-Philippe Mateta has made it 1-1 right at the start of the second half. That's a real blow for Everton if this goal stands. First period of pressure, really, and Everton have cracked. Or have they? We're still waiting.
It's all come about as well, the chance, because I think it was Jake O'Brien and James Tarkowski going for the same ball. As it bobbled in the 18-yard box, it bounces up, and they both go for the same ball. Neither of them really gets any connection. That allows Mark Gay to then sort of hook it back into the path of Mateta, who makes absolutely no mistake.
So the question is whether he has impeded O'Brien. Is that what was
side? I think they're talking about on the screen there. It says possible offside. It's talking about that. Maybe they are looking at the other one about whether it's been impeded or not.
But I mean, it must be that, because unless I'm going mad,
he's clearly
onside.
Yeah, he is. He's clearly onside. It must be another.
And the question is whether a player was impeding an Everton defender. I mean, I don't know. Listen, it's up to them. They're the professionals, but. That does seem to be highly debatable to me.
If only we could hear what they were saying.
Yeah, if only.
That would make a big difference for everyone.
So as a result, everyone's milling around, and the players are trying to keep warm out there on this cold afternoon, rainy afternoon. Still Anthony Taylor waits. Still we look at a screen here which is showing us pictures. Helpfully, we've also got a shot of the video assistant referee officials as well at their desk at Stockley Park. I'm not sure what that tells us about the whole operation.
Yeah, it was interesting because just not long after we were waiting for this decision, they brought in Anthony Taylor brought James Tarkowski and Mark Gay into the centre circle to have a word with both of them. So he obviously was trying to explain what was going on.
And still we wait. David Moyes and Oliver Glasner have had a little word together, all very amiable. They've walked away underneath the old-fashioned roofs of the dugouts here at Selhurst Park, and still pictures are being poured over, and there it is. The goal is finally given. Well, he scored in the second minute of the second half. We're now in the 6th minute of the second half. Mark.
Yeah, that's the disappointing bit, just taking so long and also not having an understanding of what they're looking at. We can't tell by just the pictures. We've got a tiny little monitor here as well, so it's really difficult. Even when they zoom in, it's quite blurred. So yeah, it's disappointing that we don't know what the discussion was actually about.
However, the goal stands, and there is confirmation that it is now Crystal Palace 1, Everton 1, and Jean-Philippe Mateta scoring with his 14th Crystal Palace goal of the season. And the two centre-forwards, the two informed centre-forwards, are now on the score sheet. Big men through the middle, but that was like Beto in the first half. It was a very composed, a very cool finish. When it came to him, hooked by Gay on the edge of the box, all the defenders, he just didn't rush it, just allowed it to drop and finished it very nicely.
Yeah, he just didn't panic. He was really cool and calm, and he just really slotted it into that bottom corner. And he's equalled Christian Benteke's 35 Premier League goals, which then makes him number 2, equal second highest ever goal scorer for Crystal Palace in the Premier League.
Yes, goals in the Premier League since the name change in '92. Zaha is top of that particular table, but that's an excellent return, and particularly an excellent return under this manager, Oliver Glasner, who we're talking about David Moyes with Beto in the first half, but Oliver Glasner has got the best out of Mateta.
I've got 24 goals in 38 appearances now so far for Mateta under Oliver Glasner.
And that's the kind of return that will make big clubs watch as Eza takes it on through the middle and shoots from just outside the D. Lovely to see him in full flow there, but couldn't keep the ball down. It's over the top, even though the Palace fans in the Holmesdale Road end all clap their hands in unison.
It's a wonderful thing, hindsight, but I think he took slightly the wrong option. You can see Mateta was to his left, was making a really good run in behind, off the shoulder of the defender, and he just held it too long, and by that time it was too late, and he's let loose with a shot, because I think his intention was always to let one go and let one fly towards the goal.
So it's 1-1, but Everton are on the attack. Here's Alcaraz. Beto gave it to Alcaraz through the middle. Now arriving on the right-hand side is Lindstrom onto his left foot, shoots. Goalkeeper Henderson dives and makes the save, pushes it across the penalty area, and Palace, I think, are going to be able to clear this. They are, with a combination of Richards and Munoz together. It really opened up for them there, and it might do the same for Palace now as they sweep forward. Excellent play from Mateta again. Holds the ball up and gives it to Eza, who's on his right foot, shoots. It's deflected by his teammate Sarr. In fact, it came off a defender, says referee Taylor, which carried it wide. It's a corner.
Again, he had lots of runners in the box there, and he just decides to have a shot himself. I think, again, it was the wrong decision. I think it was numerous opportunities. Up the other end, Dean Henderson does really well. His parry was in the direction of Beto and Idrissa Gueye, and fortunately enough, he had enough power on it to direct it away from them.
This is more like it, Mark.
This is what we like about football, don't we?
This is more like it. First half was okay, but this is much better, helped by the goal at the start of the second half, and also Palace attacking towards their beloved home stand to our right, where the massed ranks of the most ardent Palace supporters sit. As the corner is taken over there, back to Mitchell more centrally. Mitchell runs it out towards the left-hand side. He's still going, Mitchell, and then actually wins a throw-in the end. So Palace, after making the 2 changes, which obviously have invigorated them, Devaney and Lerma going off at half-time, so Henderson in goal, Richards, Lacroix and Gay, the 3 central defenders, Munoz on the right, Mitchell on the left, Hughes and Wharton now in the middle. He's missed a big chunk of this season, and it is Palace coming forward again into the penalty area, but a slip just at the wrong moment by Lacroix, who turns in any case and shoots goalwards, but from a very tight angle, and it just flashes wide of Pickford's near post for a goal kick. Yes, so Adam Wharton and Hughes now the central defenders, Eza and Sarr together behind Mateta. Adam Wharton, who was out from November to February this season, so this is only his 13th appearance of the season after he really burst through with his move this time last year, but he's now on into the midfield.
Yeah, he is. I think it obviously just brings a little bit more stability there, a bit more experience, I suppose, even though he's still quite young and inexperienced. But in terms of Devaney, I think he's got a little bit more on him. And Eza, I think, has been a big difference. He's been the main focal point so far.
Beto as Everton launch an attack. Harrison's cross from the left. Not completely cleared by Palace. It's come out to Alcaraz, who hits the shot into the back of Hughes. And the ball bounces away off the Palace midfielder over towards the right-hand side. Everton are still, as they started the match, with Pickford in goal. A couple of important saves from him in the first half. Sarr hit the crossbar as well shortly before Beto shot Everton in front. The back 4 for Everton: O'Brien, Tarkowski, Branthwaite and Mikolenko. Same as against Liverpool at Goodison on Wednesday night. Then Garner and Gay in the midfield. But Nodukure obviously suspended, Jai injured, so Lindstrom on the right, Harrison on the left, and Charlie Alcaraz making his debut, the Colombian international, his first start, I should say, his full debut. Eto, the centre forward through the middle. Everton in the the cream-coloured shirts, grey shorts, cream socks, playing the ball forward down the right-hand side. Lindstrom's after this. Ball into Beto, who shoots goalwards, and Henderson actually makes a good block at the near post. Just near the corner, the front corner of the 6-yard area, just helped it on the cross. And Henderson sort of went down and made a bundling save.
Yeah, Alcaraz does really well initially. He gets in behind Tarek Mitchell down that right-hand side for Everton, and as he gets his ball into the near post area, it's brilliant from Beto. Gets in that space there, gets a shot off. Henderson pulls off a really good save at that near post, and then there's a bounce off his own player, and he manages just to follow it out and make sure it goes in behind for a corner.
So it's a corner for Everton from the right-hand side. In swinging to the near post, Lacroix gets up very well and heads it back out towards the Everton right. In it comes into the penalty area, flicked on by Alcaraz, but just got underneath that, and the ball just loops through for Henderson to make the catch. And it is Crystal Palace 1, Everton 1, 5 Live and BBC Sounds on this cold Saturday evening in February here in South London, not too far away from the
board. 4 tries in the second half, 2 from Tristan. 4 tries in the second half, 2 from Tristan Saylor, who's now got his hat-trick, adding that to the 11 in total now that Saints have scored against this very young Salford side. St Helens 60, Salford 0.
Let me say as well, if you've just switched on, this isn't the end to our live sport tonight on 5 Live, because the boxing, that big night of boxing, begins on Sports Extra at 7:30, so the whole card on there, and then it moves over onto 5 Live at 9 o'clock live from Manchester. 6:06 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton will be following this match on 5 Live, and the lines are open 08 085 909 693 to talk to them if you've been out and about, or if you've got a view on what's happened this afternoon. Sounds we're hearing about Preston and Burnley at half-time, which I'm sure there'll be further fallout from that. Everton with the ball, which is played up towards Alcaraz, and then Will Hughes wins it back from Lindstrom, who tackles back and fouls the Palace midfielder, and it's a free kick.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one for the referee, because there's a legitimate sort of attempt from Lindstrom. The only thing I'd say is he does grab hold of his arm. Yeah, so having a look at a replay, I think again Anthony Taylor there, I think again he should have been looking to use a yellow card.
But no, he's resisted it again, and it's he gets away with that, Lindstrom. And now Oliver Glasner takes the opportunity to make a change early in the second half, and it's Ben Chilwell who is cheered on very loudly for what is his home debut, having come on as a substitute in the FA Cup at Doncaster, and Mitchell must have a problem, because he's put his coat on and he's walking along in fact he's trotting along the touchline, which suggests that it's not too serious, but he's clearly got a problem, hence the change, and Chilwell coming on.
Yeah, it must be, because he's going straight into the dressing room. I can't imagine what problem it is if he's jogging off.
No. Free kick then, and then the ball is flicked on by Hughes, and it bounces out to Lindstrom, who's able to play a ball down the line that Gay is trying to reach. It's a 50-50, and the challenge comes in from Ben Chilwell. He had to time that correctly. Not sure you necessarily want that as your first action when you've come on as a substitute. He had to get that absolutely right, but he timed it perfectly and put it out for a throw.
Yeah, he's just showing that he's ready, he's up for it, he's switched on, and that was a good challenge.
Yep, Ben Chilwell, who has had next to no football this season for Chelsea. Just the one substitute appearance, which was effectively 45 minutes. It was a half of football against Barrow in the Carabao Cup in September. But as I say, he came on actually at half-time against Doncaster on Monday night, and now here he is making his first appearance for Palace at Selhurst Park. The England international did play for England last year. Here's Hughes, who is challenged by Gay, who then goes to ground. Hughes gets up, comes out with the ball, plays it through to Mateta. It rattles back into the penalty area after the challenge comes in, and Pickford is able to pick it up. Crystal Palace 1, Everton 1, with Palace equalising early in the second half. So yes, Ben Chilwell still got plenty of his career left, all being 28 years old. This lone move that he's made, but I think it was quite obvious, wasn't it, that nothing was going to be happening for him at Chelsea.
Well, I think Enzo Maresca made it very, very clear at the beginning of the season that Ben Chilwell wasn't in his plans. It was only a matter of time before he got a move, and I think it's a great opportunity for him to come across to Crystal Palace and hopefully get his career back on path.
Yeah, and as I say, played for England in the March internationals last year, so at that stage it did very much look as though he would be part of Gareth Southgate's plans for the Euros in Germany last summer, but didn't show his best form, although he did captain Chelsea last season, captained them in the Carabao Cup final actually against Liverpool. But anyway, the page has been turned to an extent, and here he is playing for Crystal Palace. It's 1-1 and Everton have a free kick in their own left back position that Pickford is going to take. Just got to lean around the stanchion that holds up this corrugated roof in front of our eye line as Pickford takes it long downfield, and Branthwaite is able to come across and head back to goalkeeper Pickford. I have a feeling, Mark, that Jared Branthwaite will be in Thomas Tuchel's plans for England.
You would think so. Look, I think he's a very, very good young player coming through who's had now quite a bit of experience in the Premier League, and I think he's done really, really well.
Yeah, the first Thomas Tuchel squad for the World Cup qualifiers is going to be named in a couple of weeks' time. Palace coming forward, Eze doing well. Now, Munoz on the edge of the area, danced in from the right-hand side to the edge of the box, but the bubbling ball, he couldn't get the shot as he would have wanted it, and it was rather tame through to Pickford.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was he made a really good run down the right-hand side. He always wanted to come inside on his left, and as the ball, it just couldn't quite get under control. It was bobbling the whole time, and then his shot in the end was just slightly mistimed.
Yeah, he catches the eye, doesn't he? Daniel Munoz, the Colombian international, another Colombian, and the ball is out just down in front of us, and it is in the hands of the Crystal Palace number 12, Daniel Munoz, who was signed this time last year from Belgium, where he was playing for Genk. Here he is again. Munoz gets the ball down, socks low, and then back to Sarr behind him, also low socks, and then Munoz tried to flick the ball through into the penalty area, blocked by Branthwaite. Everton could be off on the counter-attack. Alcaraz, though, his forward pass is blocked down. Wharton out to Sarr on the right-hand side for Palace, and in comes the cross, curling right across the 6-yard box, and then the miss-hit shot by Chilwell, and then it's deflected behind by Lindstrom for a corner.
I think Chilwell does really well. He's looking to play it back to Eze. He's peeled away, come towards that far post area, edge of the sort of in line with the penalty spot. He's looking for the cutback, and it's just blocked by an Everton player who last-ditch sort of defending in the end.
Yeah, Lindstrom was back in there, so it's a corner to Palace. 1-1 the score, and in comes the delivery, which is headed up and away by Branthwaite. Comes out to Wharton, who then actually overhead kicks it into the box. Branthwaite is appealing for offside against Munoz, and eventually the flag does come, and it's a free kick to Everton.
Yeah, Munoz is there and about. He wanted to go get it, then in the end he just stood still, and he's still kind of interfering. That's why the linesman, he was in actually two minds, I think, the linesman, whether he's going to put his flag up or not.
Pickford, excellent ball downfield. Lindstrom now. Alcaraz through the middle, and Lindstrom was onto that, but Palace defended it well in the end. And then it comes out to Gay. Idrissa Gay shooting is deflected across the face of Henderson and the 6-yard box, and has gone behind for a corner, although Adam Wharton has just got back to his feet, and Anthony Taylor just comes across, but it will be a corner to Everton.
I think it's a block. As the ball's intercepted, Lindstrom runs onto it. Oh yeah, you can see that. Actually, it's Mark Gay. It's the block with Mark Gay. He's kind of hyperextended his knee as well, so it didn't look good on the replay. He's up and about. He's hobbling a little bit. Just hope it's not too bad.
I like the new arrival.
Oh, I'm gonna say hello.
Yeah, say hello.
Defend this Everton corner. Here's the delivery into the 6-yard box. Excellent header by Richards. It was really whipped in there from the far side, and Richards got up, even though he had, I think, both Branthwaite and Tarkowski either side of him, and Palace break, possibly effectively, with Eze, who is then shoved off the ball. That had to be a free kick for the covering challenge from Ghana. It's a free kick, and I will be surprised if that's not given as a yellow card, if Ghana gets away without a yellow card for that.
I think he will. It doesn't look like Anthony Taylor's going to bring a card at all. I mean, it's a really good play in the end. I mean, Eza gets down, cuts inside. As he cuts inside, he does now. He finally did.
Had to be marked, surely.
It didn't look like he was going to. It really didn't.
Anyway, there we are. We've finally got the first yellow card of the match.
Yeah, better late than never.
For James Garner. There could have been at least a couple before now. But Anthony Taylor showing restraint. And it's a free kick for Palace. You know, the referees obviously are very aware of what is being said. You know, you can't live in a bubble. They know what was said after the match, the Merseyside derby on Wednesday night, which I thought was an incredibly difficult match for Michael Oliver to referee. Free kick to Palace. Eza curls it in teasingly, headed across the box by O'Brien, his own penalty area, the Everton area, but then Garner was underneath it to whack it downfield, and it's actually stayed in play. Chilwell in there, volleys it forward, and then it comes back, and Chilwell actually under pressure got his head to it to nod it out of play. So it's an Everton throw midway through the second half. Lines are open for 606. The UK's most popular football phone-in, Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton, will be sitting there waiting for your calls on 08 085 909 693. Get in touch, hashtag BBC 606, text 85058. Chris Sutton was earlier sitting alongside Ian Dennis at the Etihad Stadium, watching Manchester City's handsome win and Marmoush's hat-trick as Pickford plays the ball carefully onto the chest of Beto, and then Garner strikes a pass along the ground to Lindstrom on the right-hand side for Everton. Lindstrom up against Chilwell, and then it finds its way back to Garner, and Garner looking to cross, plays it into the back of Hughes, but it's bounced out again for Everton on the right with O'Brien. And then crossfield pass is intercepted by the head of Munoz, and Palace will look to break, although Idris Ege has fouled Sarr trying to win the ball back, and Palace have a free kick. 1-1, Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, I thought he was a little bit fortunate, Sarr, to get a free kick there. I don't think it was much in that one, but Anthony Taylor was pretty quick to give a free kick. I think Palace have defended well. Everton, every time they do go into Palace's half, they look dangerous. They look dangerous going forward. That little play there, Beto dropping deep, taking the ball in the chest, laying it off, turning.
Richards with the pass. Mateta is away from Tarkowski, but the ball is away from Mateta and bounces through to Pickford.
Richards' ball was brilliant. It really was. It was perfectly weighted. The only thing, Mateta sort of hesitated. He thought Tarkowski was going to win it, and therefore didn't quite go after it. Otherwise, he could have been in.
Yes, that pass from Richards had us gliding around on our casters, on our office chairs that we sit on here. It's a little bit like you and I bumped into one another, didn't we, a few minutes ago? A little bit like dodgems, isn't it?
It is. It's very difficult to stay still in them, I have to admit.
Yeah, it's a unique experience. There's Mikalenko, who just lands a pass downfield for Beto to come across and get his head to it, but defender is there with him. Mark Gay it is, the Palace captain, who has been the subject of great interest. It'll be interesting to see if he is still a Palace player next season. Oh, what a lovely pass from Wharton. Chilwell goes for goal, but Pickford, it might have been going wide anyway, but he couldn't be certain because players were arriving there, Pickford, and had to get a touch to help it on behind for a corner.
Yeah, it was a brilliant ball over the top, and you can see Ben Chilwell running onto the end of it, and the problem was for Jordan Pickford, twice he hesitated. Initially, both times he thought about coming. He came, stopped, went again, stopped, and by that stage, the shot, I think he lost all sense of where he was. In the end, he just made sure he got something on the shot.
Yeah. So say conscious of the fact that two Palace players arriving. Well, they are. The corner count is racking up now for Palace. This is their fourth in the second half. Hughes to take this into the 6-yard box, headed away by Beto. Then Eza hits his shot back into the penalty area. Everton clear through Garner, and then Eza is able to work the ball to Hughes. Left-footed ball just lifts it into the box. Tarkowski was there, the Everton captain, to head that away, then back in from Hughes. This time it's Branthwaite there for Everton. Richards, and then Lacroix headed it forward, but Branthwaite will just allow that to roll behind for a goal kick. And we're into the last 20 minutes here. Crystal Palace 1, Everton 1. Two more Premier League commentaries tomorrow on 5 Live, when we'll have all of the top football and all the top sport covered, of course, and the Women's Super League North London Derby, which will be a big deal. That's on Sports Extra at 12:15 tomorrow, and also you can watch that on BBC Two. They're expecting over 55,000 people, I gather, for that tomorrow. Liverpool against Wolves, though, in the Premier League, 2 o'clock. Tottenham against Manchester United at 4:30. I'm not sure what to expect from that. That's where I'm going to be tomorrow, Mark, with Clinton Morrison at the Tottenham Stadium. Could be anything.
It could be. It's going to be, I think, a fascinating match.
Could be anything. I'm pretty sure it'll be something. Here's Jake O'Brien, who is forced to play the ball out of play for a throw-in to Palace. Throw-in, Chilwell to take this, which he does, to Hughes, and then Hughes is in danger of losing it, which he has, to Beto again. Excellent work from Beto, who he covers some ground, doesn't he? He's won the throw-in here for Everton.
Yeah, I think he's done really well. I think his movement, his pressure on the ball, out of possession, dropping deep, his link-up play has been really good, and obviously scored a good goal as well.
Throw in into the penalty area again. Beto the target. He is a big man, Beto, the number 14, born in Lisbon, but a Guinea-Bissau international. Throw-in is taken after Palace cleared it, and they are able to win it back on the edge of their own penalty area. Play it forward, Wharton with a nice touch in there, but it comes back, and Idrissa Gueye on the edge of the area. Alcaraz back to Beto, went for the shot on the edge of the box, but Wharton was placed right in front of him and blocked the shot at source. Tarkowski helps one forward. Alcaraz, who's been bright on his full debut for Everton, is challenged. No free kick. Palace win it back. Then nice play from Eza. Dragged it back again, and just put the little pass through to Sarr. Then here's one over the top. Sarr on the chase, but that's through to Pickford, who's again quickly out to the edge of the area to claim the ball before the Palace player could get that.
Yeah, he had to be alert, Pickford, and he certainly got it spot on there. His timing was perfect. That was a dangerous ball over the top, but he was really on his front foot there and on alert for the danger.
Back to St Helens, Fraser Dainton.
St Helens have got the bit between their teeth again after a bit of a lull in the game. They've scored their 12th try, and Tristan Saylor has got his 4th. The new season signing from Brisbane Broncos having a field day on debut. St Helens lead Salford Red Devils by 66 points to 0.
Jordan Pickford with the ball in the D on the edge of his own penalty area, passing the ball out to his right to James Garner, who I feel was a big miss for Sean Dyche this season. Garner, to be without Garner and McNeil as well for such a long period of the season. Important players for Everton. Pickford long and forward, but that's headed out of play by Munoz, and it's a throw-in that is taken by Mikolenko, and the Ukrainian returns the ball to Branthwaite. On this cold evening, I can see Branthwaite's breath on the South London air, as Everton rather sloppily, with O'Brien's pass out of play, concede a throw-in inside the Palace half. So Henderson, who took quite a knock in the first half, a knock on the nose, but was able to recover from that. He plays it out. Richards now, his pass up towards Mateta, Tarkowski, the two of them shoulder to shoulder. He's a real test, Mateta. And as I say, having scored today's 14th goal of the season, Everton coming forward, but Lacroix is able to get there first and play it out of play for a throw into Palace deep inside their own half. Mateta, Mark, with 19 goals last season for Palace in all competitions, and now 14 with time to add. Those are good numbers.
Yeah, they are, and again, he just shows you how important he is to this Crystal Palace side. When they get going, and the reason they get going is generally because he's in form and he's scoring goals, and it's also his link-up play. I talked about Beto. Mateta's similar in so many ways, just that the link-up play, the focal point at the top of the park for Palace, I think is vitally important.
And that's 7 goals in his last 7 appearances in all competitions as well for Mateta. Bang in form. 1-1 the score. Wharton couldn't get the ball down, and again Beto was making himself a nuisance there against Wharton, but Palace have retained possession. Now Chilwell goes around the challenge of Lindstrom, who then shoved him over. The ball's out of play. I think it's actually just given as a throw-in inside the Everton half, and I thought the ball boy was going to go and get that ball for Chilwell. It is a free kick. It has been given as a free kick for Palace near the halfway line. 1-1 the score. David Moyes just pacing around. This is 7th match back as the Everton manager after over a decade away from the club. Went back to West Ham, did a very good job, won a European trophy, just like Oliver Glasner, who won the... Wharton's caught in possession on the edge of the box. Oh, and it's centred by Beto. And he couldn't find the pass to Alcaraz, but has the free kick been given for Gay's challenge on Wharton? I think it has.
Yeah, it looks that way. It looks like Anthony Taylor's standing there.
It has.
I mean, Wharton's just caught in possession. A silly attempt there. I'm not quite sure. I'm not sure that is a foul.
Well, it's been given as one.
It has been. I mean, okay, all right. He's given the challenge as a foul. So, had Beto's ball been better towards Alcaraz and put in the back of the net, it certainly would have been, well, initially ruled out.
Yep. Crystal Palace 1, Everton 1, and we are now into the last 15 minutes of this match as Lacroix heads the ball back into his own penalty area and had to be careful. Shouts for handball, I think, in there as well as it bounces back into the Palace box. Mark Gay's behind that, just to, with his right foot, clear it up towards Mateta, who loses out to Branthwaite. Then the pass through the middle to Alcaraz. Alcaraz goes down rather easily, I must say, under Hughes' challenge. It's given as a free kick, and Hughes drops down onto his knees and puts his head on the turf in exasperation, but it's a free kick to Everton.
Yeah, it's a bit scrappy at the moment. Every time there's a little ball over the top there for Palace, it's just a little bit of indecision, which is causing a bit of problems for them.
Ashley Young's been prepared to come onto the field, and they're going to make that change now, actually. Everton, this is the first change. As I say, the bench is rather inexperienced and very youthful, with the obvious exception of Ashley Young, 39 years old, and he comes on to replace Jesper Lindström. Ashley Young trotting onto the field. I see in the big match in the Bundesliga that kicked off at 5:30 UK time. 10 minutes to go, Mark. Still Bayer Leverkusen 0, Bayern Munich 0.
Yeah, fascinating game, that one. Could have a big say in who's going to win the title this season.
Yep, really, Xabi Alonso's team need to win that. We will be in Munich on Tuesday night, or at least Ian Dennis will. Free kick, Garner to take this in towards the back post. It's headed across the Palace box, but they're able to clear it. Won back though by Harrison. Harrison's ball.
A danger, instead they don't.
Wednesday night, but it was Harrison's ball, I think, wasn't it, that came in when they cleared the first chance. That high ball to the back post that really caused problems, and when it was rattled in by Young, hit Hughes and bounced into the path of Alcaraz on his full debut for Everton, who said thanks very much, I'll have that, and placed it into the back of the net under Henderson's dive.
Yeah, he just reacts so well, really quickly. The ball pops out to him from Will Hughes. They were still half appealing for a handball on Ben Chilwell as he blocks the initial header back across the face of the goal. And then from that point onwards, Alcaraz was just the quickest to respond, and he hits it quite hard, not too far in the corner, but Henderson was unsighted.
As Palace come forward looking for an immediate response, header across by Munoz, but Branthwaite was back there inside the penalty area to head it behind. So a goal for Charlie Alcaraz, as they call him, the young Argentine, 22 years old, had a spell at Southampton, but actually is on loan from Flamengo, having gone to Brazil. Corner to Palace. Hughes takes this in, and a header up and over by Lacroix, with Everton players either side of him, got underneath it, and it looped over the crossbar and behind. Goal kick Everton. They will not be in a hurry.
No, they won't. I mean, it was another half a chance for Palace there. Lacroix had a free header. Yes, he had players around him, but no one really contested him, and he just couldn't control the header over the crossbar.
Crystal Palace 1, Everton 2. 5 Live from the BBC. Lines open for 606 with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. 08 085 909 693. And again, Everton, excellent play from Beto, who wins a foul against Lacroix. Beto just running across him, going down very easily, but winning the free kick.
I'm going to defend him now. I think that's really good forward play. Lacroix, I think, just a bit too lazy. I think he feels that he's got it pretty easily. Then all of a sudden, Beto appears, and he realises that he just sticks his arm out and pushes him.
Oliver Glasner's going to make a double change, Mark. Kamada and Eddie Nketiah going to come on. And I think Everton are going to make a change as well. But with Everton leading by 2-1, they're running out of time, Palace. We're in the 83rd minute. They're staring at another home defeat here. Free kick. Harrison plays it in, but that's headed away by Chilwell. The Everton supporters in great voice again. Fortunes transformed under David Moyes. Winning here, this would be quite the run, wouldn't it, as the ball's played forward. They're looking for another one. Beto making a real nuisance of himself on the edge of the Palace box, and then herring around, he runs into Hughes, blatantly blocks him, and it's a free kick to Palace on the edge of their own penalty area. They get going quickly, haven't made the changes yet. Urgency now for Crystal Palace. They've won only 2 league matches at home this season. The victories against Tottenham 1-0, Southampton 2-1, so narrow wins they were. As Wharton plays it through the middle, Hughes got a touch. Here's Mateta. Mateta's passed through to Sarr. Branthwaite went to ground, but it was the right decision. He timed it superbly, really. Branthwaite to clear.
Yeah, brilliant defending. Timing was perfect. He needed to slide. He does. He wins the ball back. Sarr's off his shoulder, falls over, but a clear, really well intercepted defending from Branthwaite.
Crystal Palace back with pressure, with possession on the halfway line. David Moyes in the last 4 Premier League matches, won 3, drawn 1, and here they are winning at Crystal Palace. As the ball's played in the centre circle, a lovely flick from Mateta, but not into the path of Hughes, and this time Garner was there for Everton. Back to Pickford and forward from the Everton goalkeeper. Harrison is able to find the pass down the line. Irabunum is the Everton player who's going to come on as the substitute next. That'll be only David Moyes' second change. Oliver Glasner is still waiting to get his next 2 men onto the field. They will be the 4th and 5th substitutions that the Austrian manager of Crystal Palace has made. Long pass forward from Mark Gay, but cleared away by O'Brien for Everton. Mark Gay is back on the ball on the halfway line, and Sarr infield to Hughes. Here's Eza, then to Wharton, now through to Sarr on the edge of the box. Eza trying to find a way past O'Brien, shoots left-footed across the goal, but wide of the far post as well. Even though Munoz was trying to get there, he was never going to achieve that, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, every time he gets the ball, Eza, he just sees so dangerous. He plays the ball forward, he really quickly follows after it, looks for the 1-2, gets in a decent position, and just sort of scuffs his shot across the face of the goal.
So now we will see these substitutions, and Everton make theirs first, and it's the man who may have scored the winning goal on his full debut for Everton, Charlie Alcaraz, who is being replaced by the former Aston Villa midfielder Tim Irabunum, who is another one who's missed a lot of this season through injury. Another player that Sean Dyche wasn't able to call on, so he's on, the number 42, and Palace have taken off Hughes and Lacroix and replaced them with the 2 players I mentioned, Eddie Nketiah and Daichi Kamada. Crystal Palace 1, Everton 2. 4 minutes to play here, plus added time. I think it is finally all over in the Super League. Salford have been put out of their misery, Fraser Dainton.
They have indeed. We knew before the game, obviously, John, that they'd have to name a youth team effectively due to sustainability cap restrictions. St Helens, though, put them to the sword. Men against boys. 15 tries scored in total. Tristan Saylor helped himself to 4 on his Super League debut. It has finished. Salford losing this game at St Helens by 82 points to 0.
Yeah, the financial rules in rugby league. It'll be very interesting to see what happens as a result of the outcome yesterday of the Premier League challenge to the financial rules. All that will be shaken out over the course of the coming months, possibly years. Everton had their difficulties, of course, didn't they, last season with the points penalties that they faced, but leading here by 2-1, and this victory, if it is to be a victory, would take them level on points with Crystal Palace this season. A real rise under David Moyes in his early matches back as the Everton manager. Oliver Glasner standing there in his long black padded coat with Palace on the attack. Time very much running out. 2.5 minutes to play here. Everton 2-1 up. Wharton's ball to the edge of the area. Branthwaite is there again. They're an excellent combination, these two. Branthwaite, who missed an early part of this season with injury. Then the ball played through to the edge of the box to Nketiah, but that was a good challenge by Tarkowski this time. Everton break away with Harrison. Last-ditch challenge by Richards, but it's a good one to put it out of play.
Yeah, brilliant defending on both ends there. Firstly, Tarkowski does so well. He needed to be perfect with his timing because Nketiah does really well. Drops the shoulder, looks to turn to the right-hand side off the back of Tarkowski. Tarkowski gets his timing absolutely perfectly. Up the other way, they quickly break Everton, and it's Richards. Initially, I think maybe it was a foul. The referee allows play on, and then Richards still is able to get up and make a really big challenge on Harrison.
Everton throw, Mikalenko takes it. Flicked on down the line by Beto, but there's no one there ahead of him, so Palace are able to gather possession again. It's over the top of Nketiah. Nketiah in on the challenge, but Branthwaite as well. Here's Mikalenko once more, black gloves on. He plays it forward. Beto chests it off down into the full-back position. He's got Harrison there as well, but two Palace players with him, and Munoz is able to tackle it out of play. Beto has played as well as anyone.
That's what I'm on about. That sort of movement. Look, you're late on the game. Yes, you're 2-1 up. Yeah, of course, players are energetic because you're winning 2-1. He's still doing those moves. He's still making the runs down the touchline. He's finding space. He's holding the ball up. He's winning throw-ins for his team. He's putting pressure on Crystal Palace. I think he's been excellent for them.
Oliver Glasner appears again out of the underneath the blue roof of the dugout with the sponsor's name on the top, and sort of twirls his hands around as if to say to Palace, come on, time is running out here. Oliver Glasner. I'm not sure if he's got one of those lovely jumpers on underneath that black coat. He's got a great line in them, hasn't he? I noticed that he was actually born in northern Austria near the Alps, as Irabunum wins the ball back for Everton, keeps his feet. Excellent work from him. Then Gay rolls it out to the right-hand side. In comes the attempted cross from Garner, but that was blocked by Ben Chilwell. Garner and Chilwell in. That's an excellent challenge. He went in there, timed that perfectly, out of play for a throw-in down the right-hand side. Throw-in to Crystal Palace. I think those jumpers that Oliver Glasner has, they remind me of the sort of thing that you'd see someone on wooden skis on back in the 1930s. The throw-in's taken down into the full-back position. Beto goes for it, but the ball just runs through, and it's a goal kick to Crystal Palace. We're in added time now. 6 minutes, I think that was, of added time. Rather muffled announcement. Wharton to Richards, then back from Sarr, and Wharton takes it on forward, puts his palm out ahead of him as if to say, I need the movement, and then to Chilwell on the left hand side. Everton have got everyone apart from Beto back behind the ball. Crossfield pass, no, there's too much on that from Kamada. That just bounces out of play, and there's some angry voices there. You can see people in the Holmesdale Road stand on their feet, shaking their fists.
Yeah, a little bit of frustration because the ball should have been a better ball first and foremost, but secondly, they needed to get the ball out wide and whip it into that 18-yard box. He's got a lot of bodies in there. No real movement other than to get the ball out wide and try and put it in a danger zone.
Crystal Palace 1, Everton 2. Highlights match of the day tonight on BBC One. Watch out as well to see what sort of jumper Oliver Glasner is wearing. Here is Gay, and then Irabunum sends it for Beto. I think Richards will get there first. He does for Palace, but he wasn't able to get any distance on the clearance, and Beto was able to get there again. Now Ashley Young on the right for Everton. I think it might be corner flag time. Ashley Young, yes it is. He turns down the line, takes it there as he's being chased by Richards, but in the end the ball is played out of play. In fact, it's deflected back to Henderson, and he races towards the edge of the box.
Yeah, they've got to try and get the ball forward as quickly as possible. Palace, at the moment, Everton have done well because they've defended on the front foot. They've contained Palace in their own half for much of the last sort of 5 or 6 minutes here, and that will certainly ease the pressure.
Be a big disappointment for Palace this, after winning at Old Trafford in their last Premier League match. Eze, right-footed ball into the area looking for Mateta. That was well headed away by Branthwaite, well defended again by Everton. Irabunum then forcing Eze to go back to Kamada, and now Wharton. He goes for the left-footed ball into the penalty area. Tarkowski's underneath that, headed by Kamada into the box, bounces off Sarr, could have gone anywhere. Then Wharton with a challenge outside the area, back it goes into the penalty area. Tarkowski goes down against Nketiah, and the ball was cleared out by Branthwaite, and referee Taylor wags his finger at Tarkowski and said, you weren't going to get a free kick for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was a little bit embarrassing the way that Tarkowski went down, and it was a bit of a touch, but he threw himself on the ground like he was absolutely hit by a train.
Yes, here it is with Palace on the left-hand side, Kamada. Then Mark, right-footed ball in, this is dangerous. Oh, excellent header away. Excellent header away by Mikolenko it was for Everton this time. Great defending, but Mateta, left-footed cross from him. Eza stretches, bounces down. Ashley Young is going to try and see it behind, which he has very well. And it's a goal kick, and that is excellent defending from David Moyes' team.
Yeah, he does really well, Ashley Young. Obviously, all the experience in the world. Eza there gets the initial touch. Ashley Young just puts himself in between him and Eza and allows it to go out, and obviously safely behind for a goal kick. They can waste some more time now.
Mark, I think this defence and David Moyes were made for each other, weren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, look, they've defended really well. There's no doubt about that at all. I think for Palace, they've played a little bit into Everton's hands. Those balls into the box haven't really had a lot of direction on. Tarkowski, Branthwaite have defended really well. O'Brien on the right side, big defenders. You know, any high balls in there, you don't have the right whip on it, the right direction, it's going to be easily intercepted, and that's what they've done pretty comfortably in the second half.
6 minutes of added time. We've had 4 of them. Palace looking at successive home defeats to Brentford and Everton. Long ball, Tarkowski is there to head it away, and Nketiah, and then Kamada, a flick from him. Eza, Palace looking to Eza and Wharton as their inspirations here, but Wharton forced by Gay to go back to Richards on the halfway line. We are now into the 5th minute of added time. 08085 909 693 to call Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton on 606. Palace continue to attack with Chilwell. Then it's played back by Nketiah. They go back to the halfway line again. More frustration from the Palace fans around the stadium and in front of us here. Forward finally to Eza. Then to the left-hand side. Chilwell with the cross. Then Branthwaite is able to get his head to it first inside his own penalty area for Everton. Munoz on the fall. Sarr now. Sarr's ball to Nketiah in the box, and this time it's Tarkowski who slides in to block the ball out of the box and out for a throw.
Yeah, good defending again from Tarkowski coming across, and Nketiah knew he wanted to turn and hit the ball across the face of the goal. He just makes himself really big. That's a big block.
In Germany it has finished. Bayer Leverkusen 0, Bayern Munich 0. Throw in for Richards to take. We're in the last minute now, last minute of added time. Everton are winning 2-1. Richards with a long throw into the Everton box. Flicked on. Wharton now back into the area. But there were a line of Everton players in front of them, and one of them, possibly Branthwaite again, was able to block it. Everton clear. Now it's Henderson, the Palace goalkeeper. His long ball. But Tarkowski comes, gets his head to that, nodded further into the penalty area. Mateta with his back to goal, flicked forward, cleared by O'Brien, bounces down on the edge of the box, and Garner is able to volley that away. He clears the penalty area by 10 yards. This could be the last chance. Wharton now into the box, taken down by Sarr. His shot hits Tarkowski. Outside the penalty area again it goes. Eza shielding it from Garner. Garner does well to get a tackle in on that. Palace, there is still time for one more attack. I'll make it, we're over the 6 minutes now. Everton, who scored with virtually the last kick on Wednesday night, now defending here, defending for a win in the Premier League, and they've got it. And the Everton players, Jared Branthwaite punches the air with both fists. An excellent rearguard action from David Moyes' team in the latter stages. What a week for them. A last gasp draw in the derby match against the Premier League leaders Liverpool at Goodison Park on Wednesday night, and then a win here at Selhurst Park on this Saturday evening. And David Moyes' Everton go from strength to strength. He walks very calmly out onto the pitch, the Everton manager, and now just raises his left fist and clenches it towards the Everton fans on the far side of the ground, who I can see right at the front. One of them has brought a banner with Beto written across the middle of it. He scored the opening goal. Carlos Alcaraz turns out to be the man who scored the winning goal on his first start for Everton after Mateta equalised right at the start of the second half. Mark Schwarzer.
Yeah, in the end, I think Everton deserved it. They obviously were better organised. They dealt with any of the sort of threats in the latter stages of this game, albeit Palace made it very simple for them, just knocking high balls in the box. Tarkowski was excellent. Branthwaite was brilliant.